Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Shenandoah University Esports Arena here in Winchester, Virginia, where today is the debut of our new recap show, The Buzzdown, where we will be bringing you multiple Shenandoah matches from this past week, starting with our Varsity Rocket League team, who took on the University of North Georgia in an NACC matchup where they look to remain undefeated. My name is Brennan Moss, and I am here welcomed by Isaiah. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good, Moss. I mean, like you said, it was a tough week. We didn't get to see this match on the stream, so I'm really glad for the debut of the Buzzdown, so we can touch on the matches we missed.
I'm very, very excited. I'm also just not used to casting this early. It's really weird. Like, the earliest we cast is like 7 nowadays. So we just don't ever do anything earlier. And I'm kind of excited because it's also Friday, and we don't really cast on Fridays. And Fridays bring good vibes. And, you know, I like good vibes. We do want to, before we go ahead and get into these standings, do want to mention, yes, this is the Buzzdown. This is a new show. We are hoping to, you know, do every Friday, encapsulating all of the matches that we weren't able to stream live throughout the week. And this week we are going to start with just three games, which is Rocket League, then we have some Street Fighter, and then we have some Tekken, in that order, I believe. But like I mentioned, we are starting with Rocket League. So let's go ahead and take a look at how our Rocket League team has been doing this semester.
Yeah. Now, we see we've got, right now over in NACE, Shenandoah is currently 3-1. So they're over in the NACE conference. They're doing pretty good. But now, remind me, Moss, this one we are doing NECC, correct? So
yes.
Do you know whereabouts they were in the standings there?
We'll take a look at NECC here in a second. Right now, we just kind of wanted to try and take a look at how we're doing overall. And our Rocket League team is having a great season in both leagues. Like you see up here, they're 3-1 in NACE, sitting in the 3rd spot. And then if we go ahead and take a look at the NECC standings, we are sitting in 1st place here in Division 3, finally getting over the University of Puerto Rico. I would love to say that last word, but I'm terrified. I don't want to mess that up, and that would be not right. But we are sitting at 4-0 right now, currently, sitting in the 1 spot. And the team we are playing against is University of Georgia, who is sitting at 2-2. I'm gonna ask you a question real quick before we, break down these stats. What team do you think North Georgia beat? They're 2-2, sitting at the went away. I gotta give me just a second. Sitting at the I can't tell. Let me look. 5th spot of the standings. My bad. Who do you think they beat this semester?
If I had to take a guess, Moss, I would probably say it's looking like ODU and the University of South Carolina.
No. They beat Puerto Rico.
Oh.
They are the one loss that Puerto Rico has, a team we just jumped over for 1st place, as you see right here. 2 series won, 2 series lost, 10 games won, 11 games lost. One of their series win came against Puerto Rico. The other one was the forfeit from Louisville.
Oh.
And then they lost 1-4 against ODU and 1-4 against Florida Southern. And if we look at our side of things, we are 4-0 in terms of Series 1. We have not dropped a game yet. Let's not overlook that. 0 games lost on the side of Shenandoah.
Yeah, I mean, that's impressive. I mean, Rocket League is not an easy game to keep those games up, but we see Shenandoah hasn't dropped a single one. So now we've got to know and look at the faces of the Shenandoah Rocket League team. Here we have Kiazi, Mango, and Pagani, the 3 tried and true members that make up the Shenandoah Rocket League varsity team.
Yeah, they just won't go away no matter what. They've been here a really long time. Some would say too long. I'm just joking. I love you guys. Yeah, like you mentioned, Kiazi, Mango, Pagani, we've seen these guys around quite a lot. But that's not the only team in this matchup. Of course, you need a second one. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the North Georgia Rocket League team, who is going to be Taz47, Sleepy, and Death Huh.
Death Huh.
With an extra H. I had to say something there because that's pretty funny. Also, interesting that it's Sleepy and Death. I wonder if they're all right. I hope they're okay.
Yeah.
Kind of, seem like they're not doing all right. But if we want to look at the rankings, I do have some notes here. Todd's 47, high GC3 player, low SSL. Don't have anything on Sleepy, but Death Huh has had a GC3 peak. So these are not players to scoff at here. We should not, under any circumstances, ever look down on another team, because that's when you get caught. That's what you don't want, especially when you are 16-0 in games, 4-0 when it comes to a series record.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said, Moss, you caught me by surprise. Those rankings, first off, that's like a whoa, wait a minute. SSL, for those that don't know, Supersonic Legend, like top rank in the game. But also, I mean, like you were telling me, they beat what used to be the number one team in the NECC Division 3 bracket.
Yeah, they did. And that was a close one. I believe it was, 4-3. So a really close game right there. And I think we're going to go ahead and get into it very shortly. But Shenandoah, while looking like the best team in the division, you need to lock in and make sure that you play up to the standards you have set so far this season. And honestly, I'm going to look to the communication. Again, I've mentioned this so many times. People probably got sick of it. But the communication on the side of Shenandoah has been fantastic this year, and that's what got them this far. But we're going to go ahead and start the kickoff here in game number 1. Remember, this is NECC, so it will be a best of 7.
Yeah, we saw Mango early there getting that contest, as we see SU clearing the field, Mango pushing it up over into Georgia Black's side just to keep that contest up in their territory.
Yeah, Pagani just barely whiffing on a shot that could have set Shenandoah up for success here early on. Still looking to be on the attack. However, Death able to send that, pass it over to Sleepy. Now the ball messing around there in midfield. However, Shenandoah on the attack, at least for a second, until that is slowed down on the side of Georgia. But right now, Shenandoah has pretty good control of this, not losing any momentum, at least for a second, until the ball gets cleared over to their side. Now they're looking to fight back and send it back the way of North Georgia.
Yeah, we see Sleepy passing up the Death Hood there, as Mango blocking the ball to just keep it out of Shenandoah's goal, keeping that control like you were just talking about, keeping it on the wall, as we see Death contesting it, just kind of getting the way there and pushing it back into Sleepy, who will hit it back in the midfield, right to Pagani, who is watching and waiting and wins the contest. But Death keeping that control just to keep it in Shenandoah's territory.
Yeah, Shenandoah started off hot there for a second, keeping the ball on North Georgia's side of the field, but now they're firing back with that momentum. Now, ball's going back a bit here. Two players going up in the air for it, fighting for it. Kiazi sends it back the other way, clears it out of their own goal just for a second. Now Shenandoah looking for some possession, not going to get it. Death setting up his teammates. Ball gets centered, at least for a second. However, Shenandoah blocks it. I thought they did, but the ball is going to roll in, unfortunately, and North Georgia gets the first goal of the game to start off this series.
Yeah, and on the kickoff, we've got Death and Pagani going. It looks like it's going in Death's favor here, as Kiazi going up to try and push it back towards Georgia, and it almost gets hit by Mango to set it up, but it wasn't enough as Mango missed it, putting it back in Georgia Black's control as they are looking to push it up the field. Death flying, but Pagani gets it out of the way. So, and we see right there, Pagani getting the goal, tying the game 1-1.
Yeah, huge goal there to fight back for Shenandoah. Kickoff goes a little scary there for Shenandoah, but it doesn't matter. Mango looking to take the ball back the other side of the field. However, gets contested. Kiazi just there in time for the save. Pagani there to help him out. Now, Mango looking to center it for his teammates. Gets some boost, trying to help out. But unfortunately, Sleepy takes it back towards Shenandoah's side and gets the demo. Shenandoah on their back wheels at the moment.
Yeah, Mango watching Death to see what the plan is here. We see the controls miss, and Mango getting the demo on Sleepy, setting the ball to Pagani, who's waiting as the second man, hitting it, but Death is ready and blocks it, while Kiazi watching to see what Death is aiming for, with Mango sending it right back to midfield to Pagani, passing it back to Mango. Kiazi flying up to try and finish the shot, but it's blocked. by Taz, 47.
Yeah, Taz in a great spot there to make that save, but the onslaught of shots do not stop Shenandoah keeping the pressure up, at least for a second there. Taz 47 now flying through the air. Pagani looking to contest it, misses it, but Kiazi there at the last second makes that save. However, the shots keep coming. Shenandoah has to stay on defense. Got to get some boost if you're going to want to stop this goal from going in. Just barely Shenandoah does. Now, nobody back in the goal for Georgia. Sleepy just barely gets there. Now, both teams fighting for control of the ball as it passes midfield.
Yeah, Pagani clearing it to the left side, but it goes right to Death, who's keeping it right above the crossbar, and Sleepy trying to finish the goal, but it's not enough as Mango takes it up the wall on the right side of field, pushing to see if the team for Shenandoah can finish the shot, with the ball landing just behind Pagani and Taz sending it right back up. Kiazi contesting it and winning as he sends it further into Georgia's territory.
And North Georgia didn't have any boost there for the longest time, and that's what's going to end up killing them there. Shenandoah gets the second goal with just over a minute left. They have the lead, and they're going to keep the pressure up. Mango wins the kickoff just there for a second. Pagani going to contest that aerial from Death, and Kiazi now has control of it for the Hornets. But the ball's just kind of moving around midfield. A goal goes right over the head of a Shenandoah player, and nobody's back there to make the save. North Georgia ties it at 52 seconds remaining.
Yeah, with just 52 seconds remaining on the clock, Taz taking control, flying the ball through the air with a great aerial control, but Mango in the way to stop any more advancement on the goal. But Sleepy wants that goal really bad, trying to set up Death, but Pagani is in the way and takes that ball away from North Georgia's control.
Yeah, big aerial fight there just for a second at the midfield. Pagani going to clear that at least for a second, but looking to center it. Taz almost gets it over to his teammate Death, but Mango makes the steal just for now. Ball gets stopped. Right now, Kiazi looking to center it for his teammate. The booster there, and the pass is there, but just barely off the mark is Pagani. Unfortunately, not able to score right there. 5 seconds remaining to game tied at 2. Mango looking to send it home for this game number 1. Trying to center it, finds nothing. 0 seconds on the clock. If they want to try to score here, they're going to have to keep it off the ground, and they don't. Now we head into overtime.
Now here's that crucial time. The kickoff could decide it all as we see Pagani immediately winning that kickoff, but Taz taking this ball through the air right past one of Shenandoah's players. Mango keeping that defense up to make sure no goal gets scored, because right here, next goal wins it all. As we see Taz misses just barely, but Shenandoah colliding with each other, almost leaving their goal open, but Mango is ready, setting it upfield, but it's blocked by Taz, who is waiting at the goal for North Georgia.
Mango has the boost to center it, but North Georgia able to make that save, at least for now. Pagani goes to send it back the other way. Now Mango there for the centering. However, does not get there in time. Now North Georgia has control of it. Oh, just for a second there. It was actually Kiazi. My bad. But Shenandoah centers it. Not able to find the goal there. Both players on the side of North Georgia making multiple saves in a row. They are ready for those shots on goal. But will they be ready for this? Pagani centers it for Mango, but not able to get anything there.
Yeah, we see Mango getting the demo there as Kiazi follows up with another demo. Mango staying back on that post to watch the ball, keeping the defense up, making sure nothing is scored here as we see Shenandoah pushing it up the field, and it's getting blocked by another North Georgia player, with Pagani going up to get that ball out of the air to try and center it for a team. Going to Kiazi, it's not enough as we see Death taking it away from the goal in this long 1 minute overtime so far.
Yeah, this has been going back and forth for about a minute and a half now. Shenandoah looking for a goal, an easy goal there, not getting it. Now Pagani looking to take it back, try to pass it to his teammates, make something happen. Only Taz in the goal to defend it, at least for a second there. But Sleepy coming from out of nowhere makes that save. Demo occurs. Pagani's got the ball. Shenandoah looking to get some boost and make something happen here, go on the offensive. But they needed to make the save first, which they do. Mango gets it out of there, at least for now. Pagani going in the air to clear it. Hopefully Shenandoah looking to get the ball out of their side of the field.
Yeah, we see Shenandoah really on the back wheels here as Mango starts to make the advance towards that goal, getting the control, but it's too far to the right as Georgia will hit it away, sending it back towards Shenandoah's side, but Kiazi waiting for them, ready, trying to drive it back up to give Shenandoah that advantage they had on the offense. as he goes, centers it, but it's pinched to the far side where we see Mango is waiting on the wall, who sends it to Pagani, and Mango going for the extra touch, but it's blocked by Taz and Death.
Yeah, who are now on the offensive. Kiazi looking to stop that, contests the ball in midair. Now Shenandoah vying for position on the field. Mango not going to be able to take control just yet, but a teammate helps him out, at least for now. Mal ball floating around in midfield until Shenandoah sends it back towards North Georgia's side. Now Mango looking for boost and looking for positioning. Going for that aerial, trying to get it over Sleepy, but Sleepy does a good job there of contesting at least for a second, but it doesn't matter. Shenandoah, Kiazi scores their third goal of the game to take this game number 1.
That, Moss, I would have to say, is a pretty incredible just game ender. I mean, first game of the night in the series, and we had a 3-minute overtime that ended with only, the score was 3-2 in that 3-minute overtime. The defense, the communication on both sides was pretty great.
Yeah, and honestly, the saves there from Taz and Sleepy were very impressive. A lot of times, 2 players on the side of North Georgia were contesting every shot that Shenandoah sent their way, but luckily that last one was able to go in from Shenandoah. And I can see these stats right here, every player on Shenandoah scored 1 goal. 1 assist each for Mango and Kiazi, 3 saves from Mango, 6 shots for Mango, 5 shots for Kiazi, 5 shots for Pagani. So pretty split amongst the team. A very across the board good performance from the side of Shenandoah, and then obviously Sleepy and Taz keeping North Georgia in the game the entire way through, just barely falling there in overtime. But NECC best of 7, you still have a chance to come back. That's only game number 1. You got to win 4 to take this series home.
Yeah, and if the rest of these games that we're watching here are going to be like this, then we're going to be in for a good one. The control that both sides had as we're getting ready to go into this next one, I'm expecting to see that even more. We saw when North Georgia was able to get that offensive push, they kept Shenandoah on those back wheels, but then it was almost the same for Shenandoah. As soon as they had 2 people, they were stuck. What was North Georgia going to do? They're getting responded to pretty early.
Yeah, you got to think that if they're going to keep having those 2 people back in the goal to make those saves, you might have to do some bumping around on the side of Shenandoah trying to get them discombobulated a little bit. Discombobulated, they were not there as the goal almost goes in less than 15 seconds into game number 2, and they still have control of it, but Mango going to clear at least for now, tries to get it over the head of Death, and does for just a second, but he is now bouncing back. Pagani's now going for an aerial, looking to center it up for his team. Shenandoah finds nothing out of that attack. Now they need to get back onto defense. They do control most of the boost, at least for now, but North Georgia will get there back eventually.
Yeah, as we see Kiazi pinching it across the field as Pagani is in the air ready, but not enough, too far to the right as he's trying to get it set up. Mango sending it back to center, but it's not enough with Kiazi sitting here on the right side just to get that control, center the ball for his teammates to get some better positioning for them on this first attempt for the goal, with Mango flying it to the left side of the field where Sleepy will be waiting for him on the wall.
Yeah, Pagani just barely misses it, but Kiazi follows up and helps out. Pagani looking to center it for his teammate. Ball bounces off due to Taz, and it floats right in front of the goal, and Kiazi is going to go ahead and send that one in to take the lead up to 1-0 here in game number 2 for the Hornets.
Yeah, we see the kickoff going to Taz there, but going right towards the goal as Death hits it away just from a dangerous situation. But Kiazi, get ready, but it's getting pushed away, and we see it heading back towards Pagani, who's waiting in Shenandoah's territory to send it back afield. But we see the control kind of gets lost there as Taz gets control, sending it to Mango, who's waiting as the third man.
Yeah, Mango just stopping the forward progress of the ball just for a second there. Kiazi trying to take it back the other way. Doesn't happen. Mango gets a demo there, which is going to help out Shenandoah trying to take this back onto the attack. However, Taz goes up in the air, misses it. Death, though, back up for Mango, who is fighting for control of the ball in the air, centers it, but Sleepy there to send it back towards Shenandoah's side of the field.
Yeah, we see Death pushing it up, trying to get that position. It's centered, but there was a demo giving Kiazi the ability to clear that ball for Shenandoah, as we see Pagani driving the ball up the field with the response where Death is waiting, and he gets the right touch right there in order to get North Georgia's first goal, making the score 1-1 with just under 3 minutes left.
Yeah, Shenandoah not able to jump up, boost up in time to stop that one from going in. Now 2 minutes and 40 seconds remaining. Both teams vying for momentum as these games have been incredibly close. Sleepy going to send it over to Mango on accident, but right now both teams fighting for control on the side of the field of North Georgia, who sends it back towards Shenandoah's side. Is anybody in the goal to stop that? Mango gets there just barely. Now looking to go on the attack, is not able to find any control there. And that's a huge mistake from Shenandoah. No one in position to make that save. Now North Georgia is up 2-1.
Yeah, we see on the kickoff, it gets pinched to the left there. But as we see, Sleepy is ready and waiting in the air with Mango taking the ball to try and get that control back. But North Georgia keeping this pressure on, making it very difficult for Shenandoah. Push it up the field as Pagani proves me wrong and sends it up the field. But Sleepy responds and sends it right back.
Yeah, Mango there trying to get it over Sleepy's car, just able to get it back in time. North Georgia almost not able to make the save. However, the ball is centered for Shenandoah. Someone's in position to make the play. However, not able to send that one through. Pagani now going back, rotating to make the save there. However, the ball is still on Shenandoah's side of the field, and Kiazi looking to make the save, just barely gets there. Mango bumps Taz into the ball to at least get it out of the front of the goal. Kiazi now trying to also help out there. Pagani looking for some sort of angle to take here on the ball. Sleepy going to contest that. Mango going up to contest Death, who's trying to send a shot through. Doesn't get there. Kiazi now has possession for the side of Shenandoah. Nobody in the way, and they are unable to stop that onslaught, that attack there from Shenandoah, who now ties up the game at 2.
Yeah, I mean, those demos, it cost North Georgia there as we see Kiazi winning that initial kickoff. Pagani waiting in the goal to stop North Georgia's attempt for an early goal. Taz trying to clash there with Mango to get in the way so nothing can get set up in position-wise with Kiazi already ready. But Death coming in flying, swinging, but Pagani taking it up, hitting it, centers it, but it's blocked by Sleepy, who is waiting in the goal for North Georgia.
Yeah, Kiazi goes up for it to try and second that attack. Doesn't able to get anything out of that, but Mango centers it for his own team, and a great assist there from Mango to Kiazi, who gets the third goal for his team. Now with 40 seconds remaining, Shenandoah up 3-2. Ball looking like it might just roll in. It doesn't, though. Taz able to get there just in time.
Yeah, with Kiazi following the ball and getting it past North Georgia there on Sleepy, with Death grabbing some big boosts to try and keep that ball there, but Mango in the way to keep it in North Georgia's territory. Pagani keeping it over here, saying we gotta stay here, this is what we want. So Kiazi sees it coming and he blocks it as that second man is going towards the goal, but it's blocked by Taz, who is ready as the ball goes back to Mango up on the wall.
Yeah, Sleepy making sure Mango didn't get another goal right there, but there's 8 seconds left. North Georgia has to do something right here, right now. But Mango looking to set it up for Pagani. Not able to send that one through, but 0 seconds left. That ball hits the ground, and game will be over. Shenandoah takes game number 2 here in this best of 7 against North Georgia.
Again, that was a crazy match. I mean, we didn't go to overtime this time, Austin, but
no,
the game ended with the exact same score as game 1. All we took away was our 3-minute overtime. I mean,
yeah,
that was some crazy offense and defense again on both sides. And I mean, almost having a slow roller into the goal, like you don't see that every day in Rocket League.
No, and Shenandoah really did a really good job there. There were a few times where the ball just kind of like was bouncing in front of their own goal. A little scary moments there, but they were able to get there just in time, make those saves. Unfortunately for the side of North Georgia, they were not able to make enough saves that game. Shenandoah takes that 1-3-2. Kiazi there had a really good performance, 2 goals as Mango sets him up for a really good one towards the end of that game.
Yeah, and we saw just in some of these replays as we're watching them, I mean, we're seeing that it's coming down to that team synergy and the communication. I mean, North Georgia was up 2-1, and somehow Shenandoah decided, you know what, we've got our comms, we know what works tried and true, so they start passing. Even on an open goal, we didn't see Kiazi attempt to take that on his own. It's a pass to Pagani, and that helped tie the game up right there. Mango sending it off the wall to Kiazi, who scores the game-winning shot. I mean, it comes down to that team chemistry and communication, like we were saying at the beginning.
Yeah, and honestly, I think there was only 1 assist there from North Georgia, which, I mean, they only had 2 goals, so 50% of their goals were based off assists. So maybe have to improve a little bit of your passing here if you want to keep up with Shenandoah. But don't let me speak too early here as Death looks to just send it in easy. Sleepy gets that goal. Nobody in position there for Shenandoah. They had no clue that ball was going to go back their way.
Yeah, I mean, catches him off guard as Pagani wins the kickoff there. But Taz ready for it with Kiazi sending it right back, going for the early goal, but it's blocked by Sleepy, trying to match exactly what North Georgia does. And there we go. We got Mango is ready, and he says we're tying this up right here, right now, 1-1 with 4:36 left on the clock.
Yeah, it looked like North Georgia thought that they could clear it by sending it back the other way on their own side of the field, but that didn't work. And excuse me, let me cut myself off. Shenandoah just flies through the air, gets their second goal here in game number 3. This is going way faster than the past 2 games.
That's what I say, as Taj kicks it off to Pagani immediately. We're in dangerous territory, but it hits the top corner of Shenandoah's goal as Mango is set up on the side. Taz hits it back where Kiazi is waiting, and we see a quick touch, but it's not enough for a goal there with Pagani trying to set something back up for Shenandoah.
Yeah, Pagani unfortunately not able to get there for that center by Mango in time. But now they're on the attack. They have the boost to try and make something happen. North Georgia sends it back their way, at least for a second. Sleepy going to continue that forward progress. Doesn't get anything out of that. Now Death passes it back to Taz, who's looking to go for an aerial, hopefully setting up his own teammate, but Kiazi is going to contest that, slow that down. Only Sleepy in the goal, who makes the save there just in time. Now Shenandoah going on the aerial attack, looking to center it for his teammate Kiazi, not able to get there. And right now, the ball is back at midfield, both teams vying for possession.
Yep, we see Shenandoah setting off this corner numerous times with Pagani hitting that ball, but Death getting the control back with Kiazi responding, putting it right in the inches of scoring another goal, but it's not enough. Sending it back to Mango, who's got that control off the ceiling, looking to see if we can get something here for Shenandoah, but Death getting in the way of the plans as all 3 of North Georgia's players are sitting in the goal for defense, and they block Kiazi's shot on goal. I mean, there's some crazy defense happening right now, Moss.
Yeah, all 3 players there on the side of North Georgia ready to make that save. It still almost went in, but not yet. However, it might go in right there. Kiazi not able to send it in between the 2 North Georgia players who are playing great defense right now, but can't clear the ball. Shenandoah is not letting up on the pressure here. Now, they go for another shot that pings off the side of the goal. Mango now has control, at least for a second, sends the ball in the air, flips around a little bit. Kiazi looking to center it, but is not able to get it through Taz's defense. Now, North Georgia sending it back to Shenandoah's side, who now have to look to clear it.
Yeah, Kiazi and Mango both here trying to clear this ball as we see Death going in to try and make a shot out of that. And he just gets it to hit the top corner, left corner of Shenandoah's goal, tying the game 2-2 with 2:15 left on the clock.
Yeah, great positioning there from Death to send that one in. Now game, like you mentioned, tied at 2. A little scary here. Shenandoah going to get back in time, and they don't. Again, out of nowhere. Just the second goal today where Shenandoah just not in position whatsoever. It feels like 99% of the time they're ready to make those saves, and just back and forth we go. Shenandoah practically does the same thing. Ball rolls in with nobody there to save it for North Georgia. Now game tied at 3 with 2 minutes left to go here in game number 3.
Taz bringing this up the field towards Mango as Mango is trying to clear here with Pagani helping out, sending it up the field into North Georgia's territory, but Sleepy responding and sending it right back to just above Shenandoah's goal where Kiazi is waiting with Sleepy in the wings, trying to set something up again. We see the bump there, taking a player from Shenandoah out of the way, but Mango's got it as you see the ball flying towards Kiazi, getting it past Taz, and we see it's going, but it's hit out of the way by Death, sending it just away from Georgia's goal.
Yeah, demo happens there. Shenandoah looks to center it, but nobody there. The demo going to stop that goal from occurring now as Kiazi looks to send it towards North Georgia side of the field. Pagani going to also attempt the same. Now North Georgia on the attack here as Death looks to center, but Mango's going to contest that, at least for now. Able to slow down that offense. Pagani also doing the same. Kiazi looking to get back in time, just not in position. Ball floats right over his car and rolls into the goal as North Georgia goes up 4-3 here with a minute remaining.
Yeah, Death taking control early on that, winning the kickoff with Pagani driving the ball towards Georgia's goal, but Kiazi right there almost gets the goal, but it's stopped by Taz, who comes off the ceiling to get in the way of that attempt, with Pagani keeping the control of the ball right now for Shenandoah.
Yeah, and Pagani contesting that, helpful, at least for now, stops North Georgia from getting, getting the lead even higher, and the lead almost gets stopped there. Shenandoah on the offense almost gets another goal. However, ball is now staggered towards the midfield. All the players looking for control of it, looking for possession. Pagani going to stop that ball from going in, at least for a second. Sleepy looking to center his teammate. Death unable to get anything there. Mango looking to send that ball just straight in. However, Taz barely able to get back there. Rotates in time with the boost. Gets something. Now Shenandoah is sending it back North Georgia's way. 5 seconds. If they want to score here, if they want to tie this game, they have to do it right now. But the ball looking like it's almost about to hit the ground. Does not, at least yet. Death, however, sends the ball straight down. And North Georgia takes game number 3 to decrease the lead from 2-0 to 2-1.
Yeah, I mean, that was just another close game. I mean, we're seeing the consistency in just the scoring. When it happens, it's almost back and forth, but it's ending up that 1 point differential, that one goal that matters, the final goal that happens in a game, and it's coming down to communication. And really, right now, we're seeing positioning is getting both teams. I mean, we saw Shenandoah, a lot of the issues came from the goal was open and nobody was able to get back in time, or someone was just slightly out of position, giving Georgia the chance to score on that goal.
Yeah, and if I did the math correctly here before the scoreboard went away, I think that Shenandoah even had more shots on goal there, and just unable, whether it was probably just the saves. I mean, we saw that whole sequence there where the entirety of North Georgia was just in the goal making the saves. And early on, though, it did, I think, if I remember correctly, yeah, the game went up 2-1 really, really fast, and then eventually North Georgia ended up tying it. And then the goals, yeah, just kept going back and forth until North Georgia just barely able to eke out the win here in game number 3 against Shenandoah.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing these rotations are just, they're almost flawless. I mean, we've got early goals right off kickoff. Immediately, Shenandoah had that score to tie the game 3-3. But we're seeing as the teams are rotating, North Georgia, it's almost like as soon as that ball is hit to Shenandoah's side, somebody is waiting for that shot to become open, or they're calling out, hey, there's no one on goal, I'm wide open, pass it to me, as we head in to game 4 if this match. With an early goal from Shenandoah, I mean, 2 seconds in, right off kickoff, we've got a goal, taking the game 1-0.
We're from 0 to 100 immediately. No time for us to get the tension up. And right now, North Georgia going on the offense, looking for something. Death not there in time. Shenandoah now looking to clear it. Mango, who is right below the ball, going to look to try and get possession of it for his team. Taz goes up to contest that successfully. Now in favor of North Georgia, they are going on the attack. Pagani looking to stop that, slow them down at least a bit. Sleepy and Death both go for the ball at once, and it almost works out there as Mango looking to clear it, and they do, but Kiazi also just rolls out of the way of the goal. He was there behind Mango, but not aware of the second player from North Georgia coming to make that shot, and they tie the game up here at 1.
Yeah, we see this kickoff very tough as Pagani fighting for control, but it's a 2v1, and unfortunately Pagani does not win that as Kiazi tries to get control, but we see Sleepy making goal number 2 for North Georgia off of the small mistake from that aerial control Kiazi had.
Yeah, and early on in the first 2 games, we noticed that a lot of the tiny fundamental stuff, the mistakes and stuff, were leading the games in favor of Shenandoah. But now it looks like the momentum is swapped, and a lot of the mistakes are being made on the side of Shenandoah instead of North Georgia this time. And that's kind of what's making the difference here. At least for last game and early on here in this one, they're gonna have to look to clear those up if they want to try and win this series.
Yeah, we see Taz trying to get something, but Kiazi waiting and ready to push this ball up, but Kiazi not having much boost, can't do much as we see Pagani coming in to help him out, but is blocked by Sleepy, where Mango is going to have to play on that wall, but it's not enough there for the goal as Taz was ready And we see Pagani trying to get something out of this, trying to keep the ball center, but Sleepy sending it back up into Shenandoah's territory where Kiazi is waiting to pass it to Mango.
Yeah, and a goal does not occur there for the side of Shenandoah, as now the ball is going back their way. Looking to get control of it for his team is Pagani. However, unable to get anything there. He's for second, but he's now in position to make the center. Does not get anything there, but Mango going to try, attempt the same thing. Does not get it. Good defense on the side of North Georgia, who looks to go on the attack. Mango trying to get back in time. Just barely does, but there's more players on the side of North Georgia looking to send that ball over their heads. Kiazi there in the goal, sitting there waiting for his turn to try and make a play. He does. Oh, that was Pagani. Now Bull lagging in front of the goal on the side of Shenandoah. They got to clear it right now. It's getting scary for them.
Yeah, having all three of Shenandoah's players on the back wheels there, all sitting in goal trying to save that, as Kiazi is going to take this ball off the wall with no boost, trying to aerial contest. Taz is waiting, keeping it very close to Shenandoah's goal. We see Death go up, but misses the hit, and we see Pagani taking advantage of this with no one in the goal, sends it, and it's going to be good for Shenandoah, tying the score 2-2 with just over 2 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, great goal there inside of Pagani. North Georgia just not in position. They were not ready for that one. Demo, though, does come through. Shenandoah down one player, at least for a second there. Kiazi just barely gets there in time to make the save. Now on the attack, looking to get some help. Pagani just bumps it away from him, sends it back. I don't know if that was what he meant to do right there, but Mango trying to clear it. Pagani going up in the air. So is Mango, who makes the save at least temporarily, is now Shenandoah looks to clear it, hopefully get some possession. They have the boost to make something happen here as Mango sends it towards North Georgia's goal. Now Mango also looking to center it for his teammate, but Pagani not there in time. North Georgia stops the onslaught for now until Kiazi, who centers it around midfield. However, now both teams fighting for control as they keep contesting each other mid-air. Mango grabbing some boost, rotating, looking to get himself in position to stop the offense from North Georgia.
Yeah, we see Mango trying to drive it upfield, but Pagani having to bail him out as Mango hitting it to the right side and right back to Mango, but it's blocked where we see Pagani also attempt, but it's blocked by Death waiting in the goal. Kiazi tries it, Sleepy is ready. It's all of the onslaught of shots from Shenandoah, all blocked by North Georgia, keeping it very close as Death sends it up the field towards Pagani over in Shenandoah's territory.
Yeah, back-to-back saves there from Death, going to stop that goal from going in. Sleepy getting the third. However, it's still scary right now. North Georgia has to clear it. They do, at least for the time being, but they don't have much boost. Not that Shenandoah has much more right there either. Both teams now got to slow it down a little bit, try to put themselves in a position to make an attack. Mango now going to take that ball back the other way, goes in the air. Taz looking to contest it, and he does so successfully as North Georgia and Shenandoah fighting for possession of the ball at midfield.
Yeah, keeping it very close in the midfield there on Georgia's side, with Mango looking to see if they can get something just set up centered as Kiazi hits it towards the goal with Mango getting the demo. Not enough though, with Pagani sending it right back, but Sleepy ready for it, who keeps it in Georgia's control with Kiazi getting in the way, sending it towards Mango, who's on the side, but it's not enough. And we hit overtime as the clock hit 0.
Yeah, both North Georgia players going up there to contest that one, stopping that late goal from happening. Now they are on the attack. Taz taking it through the air, but Kiazi going to meet him up there as he stops Taz from making anything happen for North Georgia. Now Kiazi looking to try and take that ball into the goal. Not able to find anything. Pagani follows him up, but unsuccessful in that attempt as well. Kiazi going to contest, bumps a North Georgia player out of the air, but Death is there to clean that up. Now looking to center it for his teammates or make something happen, try to win this game number 4, but Kiazi doing his best to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Yeah, Taz keeping this control. We see the area control driving it super close to a goal, but Mango able to clear it for just a moment to make sure that it doesn't go and end this round here. With Pagani driving the ball upfield, Mango looking for something, almost gets the goal with Taz ready on defense, with Kiazi attempting something, but is too far to the left in order to get Shenandoah that game-winning goal.
Yeah, right now Taz clearing it for North Georgia, back to Mango, who's going up for an aerial, looking to make something happen, trying to be the savior of Shenandoah. That ball almost ekes through the North Georgia defense, but they barely get the touch that they needed to send it back away from their own goal, now in position to try and make something happen on the attack. They don't really have much boost, so they're going to have to rotate back, try to get on defense. Mango looking to make the attack work for Kiazi, almost gets it. Pagani also going up for the ball, but the ball, full balls. Jeez, I can't speak. Kiazi looking to send it back the other way. Game's still tied at 2 here in overtime. Kiazi looking to play some great defense there. Mango goes up in the air, sends the ball back the other way. Every player on the field just going up in the air to try and get possession of it for their team.
Yeah, Death right there, meeting Kiazi on the wall to just get in the way. Taz sending it to center. Oh, and it's not the touch that Sleepy's looking for. Mango clearing the ball over to Pagani as they push it back into Georgia's territory, but it's immediately hit away from Pagani, who has sent it into Kiazi's clutches to see what could happen here for Shenandoah. We're right there, but Sleepy clears it, and there's no one in the goal right now for Shenandoah as Mango hits it off the wall in the nick of time to send it back the other way.
Yeah, but the ball's still on their side. Taz looking to make something happen. Sleepy waiting in position, trying to score right there. Death realizes he has to rotate back to stop this shot going in from Pagani. Now looking to go on the attack himself. Now Jukes, a Shenandoah player, tries to send it upfield, but another one comes to contest that. At least for a second now, Kiazi there make the save, but gets demoed in that exchange as Death now looking to fight for control against Pagani. Sleepy comes in to clean that up. Kiazi looking to send a shot through on goal, just barely goes over the goal. Mango looking to help him out there, send it to Pagani, not able to just yet. Kiazi just barely has the boost to get up for that touch. Now Shenandoah looking to try and center it for their own teammates, not able to find anything just yet. Death going to send it back the other way. Pagani looking to contest that, but gets juked. Unfortunately, Shenandoah also gets bumped off the ball there. Now, ball centered there for North Georgia. Nobody there to make the play, though.
Yeah, we see Sleepy sending it right back where Kiazi is going to hit it into Georgia's territory, but Taz is ready and waiting, hitting it towards the wall, trying to get something for Georgia, as Sleepy has to come in to bail him out because of Shenandoah's amazing offense there, with Mango clearing it to the right side of field. Pagani looking for something as Sleepy sends it into Kiazi, the third man right now for Shenandoah, and now Mango having to bail Kiazi out as we see North Georgia get it past them both for Pagani to bail him out, and Death not getting the touch he's looking for, sending it deep into Georgia's territory.
Yeah, and right now Shenandoah has a chance to score, get the game-winning goal, but they are not able to do so. Pagani gonna need to get some boost, able to find that. Ball is kind of rolling around there on North Georgia's side of the field. Both teams playing a little slow, realizing they're all in awkward position, but Mango rotating back, looking to catch that ball. They got cleared over to their side of the field. Taz, though, in the air, trying to center it for North Georgia. Luckily, Shenandoah players getting up to stop that. Pagani not able to get up high enough, and unfortunately, the ball sails over his car, and North Georgia scores the game-winning goal here in game number 4.
I mean, what a game, Moss. Like we were just saying, how close these games are going to be. Just because both teams wanted to impress us, they said, you know, the first game we went to a 3-minute overtime, so we'll push this one to just under 4 minutes and 15 seconds. They said we could increase how long this overtime goes, but I mean, that was insane.
I mean, they looked at us, they were like, hey, you guys like Casson, watch this. And we were just like, well, yeah, we're watching, because that was insane, and I could not get my eyes away from the screen there. But just absolutely fantastic Rocket League from both teams there. Now, those minor mistakes catching up with Shenandoah there in the end. Pagani didn't have the boost or the timing to get up there. Actually, if I'm looking at this correctly, I think he had the boost. He just didn't get there up there in time. The ball goes in right under the post, and North Georgia secures that second game win here in this series. Now, series tied here at 2, and we're going to go ahead and take look at some replays, see how this watch how this match ended up happening. And yeah, that weird first goal that kind of just rolled in for Shenandoah, and unfortunately that miscommunication there where I don't think either player I don't know if it's miscommunication. It might have just been they didn't see the second player that was coming in behind for the rotate, looking to try and make that second shot on goal, and that's kind of what ended up, getting North Georgia that one. And then, it kind of just went back and forth from there with some crazy saves.
Yeah, I mean, like you're saying, it could have just been simply, hey, we missed the player who was there.
Yeah.
And Shenandoah now has to think, how do we adjust to this, right? Because like you're saying, the series is now tied 2-2. So these teams, they've kind of figured out how the other plays now as we're going to be going into Game 5 very shortly. And there's going to be those obvious tells that someone has that, hey, this is our chance to score. We got to go in now. I mean, we had the crossbar was getting hit in this overtime. We had just a large amount of shots on goal across both teams. I mean, neither team is afraid to miss the shot as they try to make this goal.
Yeah, and it's gonna be those tiny mistakes. Whichever team makes more of those tiny mistakes is probably gonna be the team that ends up losing this one. And right now, Kiazi has to get back in time and does it. And off rip again, Shenandoah lets up another early goal, and this time just in 5 seconds. It feels like Shenandoah has either just lost the momentum or lost, the communications maybe gone down. I don't know what it is, but they're letting some crazy early goals go in here for the side of North Georgia, and it's killing them in the end.
Yes, we see Sleepy already applying that pressure, holding Shenandoah on their side. Mango and Kiazi able to drive it up the field to kind of relieve some of that pressure, but unfortunately, Pagani sending it up just above the goal to see if something can happen with Death ready to send it towards Pagani. He's going to bring it off the wall, but not able to set anything up for Shenandoah.
Yeah, ball lagging around right now here on the side of North Georgia, at least for a second. Kiazi looking for a center, but no Shenandoah player there in position to follow up. Pagani there, though, in the position to make the save as he gets bumped by his own teammate out of the way, but into a good position to try and center it for the side of the Hornets, who look to try and score early to tie this one back up, but not able to find anything. Good defense, good saves there on the side of North Georgia, but right now they're looking to raise that lead here as Taz bumps Kiazi out of the way, but no other North Georgia player there in position to follow up on that center. Taz now stopping the push from Shenandoah, at least for now, sending it back the other way, going up in the air. Kiazi looks to contest him, which slows the ball down. Pagani gets there, but gets demoed. Mango the only one in the goal, but not ready for that shot that gets sent right through the top left corner of the goal. Now North Georgia raises their lead up to 2-0.
Yeah, with just under 3:30 left on the clock. Shenandoah really on the back foot as Mango is currently in a competition and wins it, sending it up to center something for Shenandoah, but it's not enough as Kiazi gets blocked by North Georgia and their two-man defense that we've been seeing all night.
Yeah, and ball almost rolls in there again, and it ends up bouncing off of the Shenandoah players and back right in front of Sleepy, who's there at max speed to send that one in. Now North Georgia, that momentum's all in their favor. Shenandoah has not been able to stop this onslaught of goals. I don't know if it's miscommunication boost or what, but they have to clean it up here if they don't want this one to waterfall up to a higher lead. Now, cut myself off there. Shenandoah able to cut the lead down to 1-3 with that huge goal there from Pagani. Now, if they want to keep it going, if they want to try to tie this one up, they're going to have to keep that momentum going. But no one in the goal there from Shenandoah again. They're leaving it wide open.
Yeah, but we see Pagani taking it up the field with toes, trying to get in the way there, but it's not enough as Kiazi coming from the midfield to see what he can do to set up his team with Mango attempting to send the ball for Shenandoah, unable to get what he's looking for, but keeps it towards the goal, is able to get the center to Kiazi for Shenandoah's second goal to shrink the point differential to 1 point with just under 2:30 left on the clock.
Yeah, I want to highlight the plays of Mango there real quick. He got down the other side of the field, bumped a North Georgia player out of the way, and also looked almost going to score again there, but as I was saying, bumped the player out of the way, then got himself in position to clear up and to send that assist down to Kiazi, who ended up scoring the goal. Now Shenandoah only down by 1, and they have control of the ball on North Georgia's side of the field, but Sleepy going to slow down that offense. Demo happens in front of the goal. Sleepy sends it back, clears it over to the side of Shenandoah, who's looking to get back in a position to rotate to get on the defense, waiting for that attack from Taz. Kiazi almost contests it, but unable to. Head barely makes the save there, gets the ball out. Mango, who's looking to clear it, ball sitting around in the midfield, few aerials from a couple cars there trying to contest it, and the ball, however, falls over to the side of North Georgia, at least for a second. Pagani going up in the air, trying to make something happen, doesn't find anything just yet, but Mango looking to center it. Taz there, ready on the defensive side. Now Shenandoah looking to try and score and tie this one up with 1:20 remaining.
Yeah, Death just watching as Kiazi gets control of the ball for Shenandoah, sending it over Taz's head, but right into Sleepy, who sends it right back into Shenandoah's territory, where Pagani is waiting to clear that ball away from the goal, even just for the moment there, as Taz keeping it right there on that left side, or right side from Shenandoah's perspective there, as Pagani is driving the ball up into Georgia's territory, where Mango gets the demo and is looking to center this ball for his teammate, and right to Kiazi, but it isn't the shot they're looking for, as we see Pagani fly in, but it's blocked by Death this time.
Yeah, just a fantastic save there from Death, who's able to get it out of the way of the goal, at least for a split second there. A few shots on goal from Shenandoah, not able to go through and tie this one up yet. Now, 30 seconds remaining. Shenandoah has to make something happen soon, as North Georgia looks to try and contest, slow down their offense. Both players on Shenandoah missing that one. Pagani looking to go up in the air and make sure Death does not get control of that one. However, Taz there, lying there in wait. Mango, however, saves that one. Make sure that Shenandoah has a chance to rotate, get in position to try and go for this last attack. Now, they don't have, Mango doesn't have any boost. Pagani, though, does have the boost to be able to make that save. However, 3 seconds left. Shenandoah has to get this ball in the air if they want to try and tie this one up, and they are unable to do so. Therefore, North Georgia takes game number 5, 3-2. Shenandoah, unfortunately, able to come back in that one.
Yeah, I mean, just right there, we see the momentum is definitely in North Georgia's favor right now. Going
Yeah.
3-2 in series. So we're getting to a very crucial point, because now all North Georgia has to do is really keep it going. I mean, what are they looking for here, Moss?
I mean, North Georgia's probably going to look to keep doing what they're doing. I mean, Taz making a couple great saves there. Every player on that team, you know, the wealth is spread amongst the team there, as every player on the side of North Georgia got a goal. Shenandoah, unfortunately, those two goals from Shenandoah just coming a bit too late there. They kind of just fell down the rabbit hole pretty early on. It's really unfortunate. You had that one goal that rolled in early on. Nobody was in there. And then the one goal, I think, that just kind of went over the head of one of the Shenandoah players. And just really unfortunate scenes there early on. And they looked like they got the momentum back later. But, you know, too little, too late. Unfortunately, Shenandoah loses that game. And now, North Georgia on series point. They are up 3-2 here in this best of 7. Shenandoah, if they want to win this, are going to have to win 2 games straight.
Yeah, and I mean, I think in my head, if I were playing for Shenandoah, if I were Mango, Pagani, or Kiazi, this is that moment, hey, let's take a step back. What wasn't working? How do we want to analyze what was working in the first couple of games that we were able to capitalize on, that they started catching on us, that we can make the adjustments for, to kind of mess with the flow that North Georgia is expecting?
Yeah, right now they're able to just kind of, you know, keep their strat in check. North Georgia hasn't really had to change much. It just felt like the momentum shifted their way. You know, Shenandoah making more mistakes instead of North Georgia. However, Pagani trying to make sure that what happened last game happens this game too, and luckily able to do that despite the Shenandoah player being bumped. Mango going in there, trying to take it in himself, and is going to be able to. A couple bounces is what makes that happen. Mango said, fine, I'll do this myself. We need to get the momentum started for our side. My team needs me, and he gets up there, makes something happen. Shenandoah up 1-0 with 4.5 minutes remaining here in this game number 6, and they're looking to add on to this lead early.
Yeah, with the ball going back to Mango, who sends it up just above Georgia's goal there, but not able to get anything, as Shenandoah sending it back, as Sleepy tried to stop it but wasn't enough, with Sleepy following the ball across field, going into the air, but Pagani waiting to keep it in the territory. We see the demo, so we get blocked with Mango here, trying to follow up, sends it to Pagani, and it's good for Shenandoah's second goal, taking an early 2-0 lead with just over 4 minutes left on the clock.
Already, Shenandoah building off of at least the late parts of Game 5, as their communication seems cleared, and they are absolutely going to keep piling on the goals here as they score a third one. Crazy scenes here from Shenandoah Hornets as they now go up 3-0 here in game number 6, and they stop the onslaught that North Georgia has just been, the pressure that they have kept on Shenandoah is slowly going away, at least for a second. Kiazi there to make the save. Great redemption from earlier, but they need to clear it, which they do. Shenandoah sends it back to North Georgia's side as they look for more boost. Pagani looking to center for his team. However, nobody's there for the time being. They need to get back on defense. Pagani going to get bumped out of the way. Taj trying to make it there in time, but Kiazi recognized he needed to get over there. Gets there just in time. Mango also following up on that on the defensive side of things. And he's now going to take it himself once again, looking to send that ball up in the air. Pagani not able to get there. North Georgia makes the save and clears it, at least for now.
Yeah, Death driving up the field, but demoed by Pagani as Kiazi sends it right back into Georgia's territory where Sleepy is waiting. Mango on the ground, watching and waiting to see what he can get, with Death hitting it just past him over to Kiazi, who's waiting in Shenandoah's goal to play that defense that Shenandoah has made sure they have going into this game.
Yeah, it feels like now every time North Georgia's gotten a shot on goal, they've been there, whereas earlier they were not. Now let's see if they can do it once again as Death is looking to center it for his teammate. Doesn't exactly hit the mark on that one, but ball still in front of Shenandoah's goal. They're going to have to try and clear it if they want a chance to stop North Georgia from making the lead any lower than it already is. Shenandoah Kiazi looking to send it back the other way. Right now, both teams just contesting for possession of the ball.
Yeah, Mango hitting the ball up, trying to keep this control on the ceiling as Death gets in the way there with Taz right there at midfield trying to get something, but Sleepy keeping the momentum up where Mango is going to keep it from going into Shenandoah's goal, but Taz keeping that pressure on his Death, sends it and gets the right hit in the corner to send it in the goal, making the score 3-1 with just 2 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, I don't think that was any miscommunication there. The players were there. There was boost that all the players had as a goal. Almost, goes to the side of Shenandoah there real quick after that kickoff. And you know what? I'll eat my words. They end up getting the goal here. Shenandoah raises the lead 4-1 now in favor of the Hornets. And I want to mention before that goal that North Georgia ended up getting, I was talking about, the communication didn't seem like the problem. And more so, it looked like the player just didn't recognize the angle that the shot was going to take, and therefore just kind of whiffed on it. But Mango looking to raise that lead for Shenandoah. Doesn't find anything just yet. Ghazi gets demoed. Unfortunately, now Shenandoah has to race back to defense, but the ball still on the side of North Georgia, who is getting contested currently by Kiazi, flying through the air. Mango looking to center it for anybody on his team. Pagani, however, not in position, but still keeps possession of the ball for the Hornets as they look to center it. Sleepy trying to get it out of that area in front of the goal so that Shenandoah doesn't capitalize on the positioning there. And right now they are looking to clear a ball sitting around midfield, but now Pagani has it, centers it for Mango, but Death there able to slow Shenandoah down.
Yeah, and Death keeping this movement going as we see a demo on the Shenandoah player there, I believe was Mango. Sleepy keeping the ball up, but it gets pinched back to Georgia's side. Too far left to be a goal, unfortunately, for Shenandoah. But Kiazi putting that pressure on, which is blocked by Taz, going for that 5th goal to really solidify Shenandoah's lead there.
Yeah, huge save there from Taz, able to clear it, send it back the side of Shenandoah. But as we've seen, Shenandoah takes advantage of that possession very well so far this game. Kiazi almost sending it in, not able to. Pagani looking to rotate, get in front of Sleepy, trying to stop that offense from North Georgia. Kiazi looking to clear at least for a second. Taz looks to contest it, but Kiazi also contests that one. And now a demo happens right in front of the goal, and Death is going to take advantage of that. Sends it in there for North Georgia as the score is now 4-2, but there's only 16 seconds remaining. North Georgia has to score incredibly quickly, back to back, if they want to tie this one up. 10 seconds remaining. Sleepy looking to center, looking to find a goal, but they have to score right now and maybe score a kickoff if they want to tie this one up. Pagani going to send the ball back the other way. 1 second remaining, and Shenandoah looks to take game number 6 here, and they do 4-2.
Yeah, I mean, that's the widest and largest point differential we have seen out of the game so far. I mean, we see Shenandoah winning there 4-2. This is the first time that the point differential has not been won between the teams, and it looked like Shenandoah, they said, we figured out what was going wrong, we fixed it, capitalized on it, and they came out swinging with 3 goals just immediately.
Yeah, I mean, both goals from North Georgia. I mean, the first one was just a misjudged angle from the side of Shenandoah. They thought it was going to go one direction, went the other. Unfortunately, they scored there. And then towards the end, Death taking advantage of the fact that one of Shenandoah's players had been demoed, and so they were down a player. And I think the other player also got bumped, so that ball just went in pretty easily. It wasn't really communication. So huge improvement there from the Hornets. Now the momentum swings back into their favor going into Game 7. I think this is, I can't remember if this is the first or second Game 7 of the season that we've at least had a broadcast. Wait. Definitely not NACC. I forgot, you know why? These are the first 3 games we've lost all season here in NACC.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Well, you're saying, I mean, yeah, going into the night, there were no games lost for Shenandoah, and now we see they've just lost 3 going into their first Game 7. But like that angle, like we were talking about, even if you could read that angle, it looks like it's going to bounce right back out. But that's like normal soccer. It could be the way the ball is spinning, it hits that corner, and it rolls right in. So that's not really a miscommunication. It's definitely, I would say, more of a misjudged angle there.
And, we can go ahead and talk about it at least for a second. This is the first time that Shenandoah has faced any adversity here this semester in NACC. So this is the moment of truth here. If they can fight back and, win these last 2 games, they might get a goal here early on. They don't. They can fight. They can raise their standings here even further, even higher above second place. They're currently in first, but, every game does matter here heading towards playoffs. There's only one more game left after this, but right now we are looking at game number 7, 4.5 minutes remaining. Both teams sitting at 0 goals. This is the only game that matters right now.
Yeah, we see that early demo that happened there with Georgia putting the pressure on, but Pagani getting in the way to stop the advance that North Georgia was looking for. Pagani looking to center to send someone there, and he gets it by passing it to Kiazi in order for Shenandoah's first goal with just over 4 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, that goal going to make them feel good here as Game 7 rolls on. Death, though, looking to tie that up. Pagani already ready for it, though. At least for now, Kiazi also behind in the goal to make another save for the Hornets as he also looks to contest that one and clear it back to North Georgia's side. Both teams fighting for the ball at midfield. Kiazi ends up winning that contest. He centers it, but nobody on Shenandoah able to follow up on that one, at least for the time being. Mango, though, ready to get up in the air for that one. Demo happens on the side of North Georgia, and that's what Shenandoah needed to get the second goal of the game here as they score very, very quickly here in game number 7.
Yeah, and Shenandoah winning the kickoff there as Taz is flying through the air uncontested, but Kiazi waiting above Shenandoah's goal, ready to stop any more attempts on the goal there from Georgia, with Mango following up. Taz ready to respond, hitting it right past and putting Pagani in the spot that he's got to block that, as he does, sending it back to midfield where Mango is ready, trying to center it for somebody to score, but doesn't get the touch he's looking for, as it goes right back to Pagani, who's getting that ball center again to attempt something, and it's not enough as Georgia has their 2 defenders show up and block the shot.
Yeah, Taz falls right down on top of that ball there, able to make the save, send it back. Shenandoah almost lets a goal up there, but ready in position and waiting to make that save. Mango, who now centers it, sends it back, flying the other side of the field. Almost could have gone in if there wasn't a defender there on the side of North Georgia. And now, unfortunately, Shenandoah player gets demoed. Mango contesting the ball on the midfield right now, but North Georgia goes on the attack, at least for a second. Pagani very quickly slows that one down, sends it back over to his teammates. Now looking to set up each other, and Kiazi, another shot on goal there, almost gets one, but unable to hit that the way he wanted to. But Mango right now, I'm going to be honest, I did not think that one was going in, but it does. Shenandoah raises their lead to 3-0 here with 2.5 minutes remaining.
Yeah, putting Georgia really on their back foot right now as Taz looking to get something, driving it up the field, and we'll see they'll get it, send it in real early there from Death to make this game a 3-1 with only a 2-point lead in Shenandoah's favor.
Yeah, I mean, if you're North Georgia, you really needed that right now. You needed to, you can't look at that scoreboard with, a minute remaining and you're down 3-0. So this makes it at least feel a little bit better. And they almost make it 3-2 there, but Shenandoah makes the save. Now Mango taking it back the other way. demos a player on the side of North Georgia. Now Shenandoah has to rotate back, get some boost, try to play a little bit of defense, get control of that, get possession of it. Pagani looks to send it over the head of Taz, not able to do so. As he clears at least for a second, Sleepy contests that. Mango unable to get anything out of that contest. Now Taz waiting in position to clear it, go on the attack for North Georgia.
Yeah, Taz really pushing the ball up as Mango hits the ball and takes control to sort of clear it out of the way, with Georgia really applying that offensive pressure, but Kiazi able to clear it up the field into Georgia's territory, where Taz will respond by sending it right back to Death, where Pagani is waiting in the goal for Shenandoah as Sleepy keeping a touch, but Mango denies yet another goal with an amazing save there, putting Georgia back in a position where they don't have anything set up just yet, as Taz is flying towards the goal, gets it past one of Shenandoah's players in the pass to Sleepy, and that will be the pass that gets North Georgia their second goal, making the score 3-2 with just over a minute left.
Yeah, and this ball might just roll in again. Kiazi is there. Finally, redemption from that earlier goal once again. Shenandoah looking to keep this lead. They are up 1. Less than a minute left here in game number 7. Kiazi there makes another save, clears it at least for a second now. Mango hitting it back towards an empty goal there from North Georgia, but just barely off the mark here. Spaghetti follows up. Mango follows up to that. Now North Georgia on the attack, sending the ball from midfield. Kiazi's going to slow them down at least for a second. Death now taking the ball for his team up in the air, waiting for a teammate to follow up. Hits it back himself, tries to center it, but a Shenandoah player gets a touch there that sends it away at least for a second. And Taz not there in time. North Georgia not able to capitalize on that wide open goal there. They almost had a shot, but 19 seconds remaining. Shenandoah looking to keep that ball on North Georgia's side of the field. It almost goes in, hits off the post. Pagani follows up and raises the lead here in game number 7 to 4-2 in favor of the Hornets. 12 seconds left. North Georgia almost has to get a goal like right after this kickoff, and they might be able to, but Pagani going up for it, gets the save. 5 seconds remaining. This is looking like it's going to be a game 7 win here for Shenandoah. If that ball will touch the ground, it is now impossible for North Georgia to make the comeback, as Shenandoah will come back, win 2 games straight here to take this best of 7.
Wow. What an end to the series. I mean, game 7 being very similar in that lead that Shenandoah had, almost going up their entire points in just a few seconds, really.
Yeah.
They said, we're going to go up similar to what we did in the last game, and they brought it back. They did what most would think very difficult to do, and win 2 straight games and have the exact same score happen, too.
Yeah, especially that turnaround. I mean, we talked about it. Those couple games that they lost in the middle of the series, you know, a lot of the time it was just kind of struggling with the tiny mistakes, the fundamentals. They were, you know, they didn't have the boost. They they had timings missed on some jumps, trying to make some saves, communication. They were getting bumped. They were getting demoed in their own goal, and that was just, you know, making a wide open shot there for North Georgia. But they, you know, got together. They talked to each other, and they fixed their mistakes, and they were able to bounce back, win, like you said, win 2 games straight, and win this best of 7, 4-3. That is now going to go ahead and take them up to 5-0. But we're going to look at the stats, the head-to-head stats from that series right now here. We take a look. Those, you know, the biggest thing I see right here, honestly, is just the amount of shots that Shenandoah took. Because while they do have 24% on, you know, their average shooting percentage compared to University of North Georgia, they took 20. I can't do math. 16 more shots than University of North Georgia did, and that's probably what made the difference. A lot less saves there too. I did forget to mention.
Yeah, I mean, like you're saying, the shots, they have a significantly more shots on goal than North Georgia did, but that also plays into like what you're saying with less saves. It's showing right there. Shenandoah, when they've got that offense, they will shoot on that goal until they get what they need working. It shows they had more assists, so we see Shenandoah had more of that teamwork going into those shots to help kind of focus more. And we kind of commented on it earlier, but North Georgia has 2 defenders, so it's not unlikely that we were going to see them have higher saves with the number of players playing goalie there.
Yeah, I mean, they were just like stacking the goal of points. There was that I can't remember what game it was. I think it was like maybe the 4th game but it was just a moment where I think Shenandoah had like 4 or 5 shots back to back to back, and all 3 players in North Georgia were just in the goal, and they were just making saves. Like, they were just taking turns making saves. It was kind of crazy. But right now, we're going to go ahead and take a look at a head-to-head of stats from players' perspective as we take a look at Kiazi and Taz47. We're going to see right now Kiazi leading the way there with 9 goals on the series. Look at that man go.
Yeah, I mean, it says it right at the top of your screens there. You see, these are the MVPs. These are the players from tonight that they put in the work. And, I mean, look at that. Taz right there has 24 saves alone. I mean, that's kind of insane to think about. But
that is insane to think about.
We've got 24 saves from Taz, and Kiazi has 32 of the shots for Shenandoah. I mean,
yeah,
those numbers were up there tonight on both sides.
The 28% average shooting percentage, though, also great on the side of Kiazi. And, we do want to mention Mango setting up a lot of those Kiazi shots really well. A lot of times where, he would there were a lot of times where he would legit just bump someone out of the way first. He would, kind of just make way for the entire shot to begin with, where he'd maybe even be the one to clear it. Then he would go bump somebody out of the way, rotate back with some boost, get in the air, and then set Kiazi up for a goal. And it just worked out in the end there for Shenandoah. As we're going to go ahead and take a look at some replays from the series.
Yeah, I mean, we see it just the amount of times we saw a goal that it was the smallest mistake about someone's positioning. Mm-hmm. We saw more slow rolls, like right there off a kickoff, we see, boom, an immediate goal in Game 4. But those kinds of goals, they're not very common because usually if a roller like that happens, you've got your teammates are right there. So it was that mistake of positioning and maybe even some communication that kind of threw off the game plan for many of the players tonight.
Yeah, and I mean, that the momentum shift there in between the Game 5 to Game 6, because Shenandoah lost Game 5, of course, but they were down 3-0. And then they scored 2 straight goals. It was just like I said earlier, too little, too late. But what that did do was help out the momentum on the side of Shenandoah, and they just carried that through the rest of the series as they go ahead and take this one. And we take a look at this right now. Shenandoah just early on in Game 7, absolutely, walking away with that one at the end, making sure that North Georgia, does not take that series. And now we're going to go ahead and take a look at Pagani's stats, who I believe is going to be the MVP for the side of Shenandoah.
Yeah. I mean, we saw, I would still probably say that Kiazi was definitely the series MVP, but even an impressive stat here from Pagani. I mean, 21 of the shots, right, with 10 saves, 9 goals, and 4 assists. I mean, in a series like this, those shots and those saves, they were the numbers that mattered the most. Really, those goals, they don't happen without those 21 shots even being attempted in the first place for Shenandoah.
Yeah, I mean, every player on the side of the Hornets just spreading the wealth around. Everybody's scoring. Everybody's getting assists. Everybody's making saves. Everybody's, getting those shots on goal throughout the entire series. I don't think there was a single player that played bad. I think we should put a spotlight on all of them. They all played incredibly well. And as you can see here, Pagani also playing well, 9 goals, 4 assists. You already mentioned it. We're going to go ahead and take a look at some of his replays from the series right now.
Yeah, I mean, like you're saying, that share of the wealth, no player was bad. It was a great game, both sides. It came down, like we've been saying this whole time, to those nitpicky mistakes and which team was able to use the momentum when they capitalized on those mistakes to take that lead. And I mean, you got to think, Shenandoah, it definitely had to be something as they're playing, and all of a sudden they lost their first game in NECC. Then they lost the second and the third. Those are the first 3 game losses they've taken in this division in NECC.
Yeah, and all players answering back pretty quickly. We've seen this in past seasons where it's like the momentum starts to shift away from them, and then they struggle to bring it back. But one thing I've noticed this semester in NACE, especially because obviously they haven't lost a game in NECC before this series, is that they've been fighting back, and they've been staying calm, cool, and collected, and able to fight back in the series where it might not seem like they're going to win that one. But, this is just an example of that as we go ahead and take a look at Mango stats from the series. I want to shout out Mango because while he may have not had 9 goals like the other 2 players did, he did have 8 assists, 11 saves, and 24 shots. Doing a great job there of also bumping the other players out of the way and opening up shots for his other teammates as, like I mentioned before, just bumping players out of the way, getting those assists, and making way for Shenandoah to take the series 4-3 there in game number 7. And we have the man himself back here for an interview. How you doing?
Hey guys, how are y'all doing today? I'm doing great. How are y'all doing?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I mean, those are incredible games to watch on our end. I don't know if you have anything to add to that, Moss.
I do want to mention, so first games you've lost in NECC.
Yeah.
And you lost them all 3 back-to-back. You go up early in the series 2-0, and then all of a sudden you guys start making mistakes that you weren't making in those first 2 games, and all of a sudden, oh, shoot, we've lost 1 game. Oh, shoot, we lost another. Oh, God, they're on match point. What are the feelings in that moment?
It was definitely not the best. It was not the pinnacle of where we would want to be at for those games. But we kind of held the mental together. That's the only reason that we didn't just instantly fall over and lose. So yeah, being able to hold those emotions together to be able to come back in the game 6, game 7 was pretty good.
Yeah, and I do want to take something that I've heard you say before is that you towards the start of a game, you can realize when you need to be the one that's on the attack and you're at the forefront of our offense. And then there's times where it's like, okay, my teammates are playing really well and we're communicating well. I need to be the one that sits back. I'm viewing the field from a larger perspective, a wider view. How do you usually decide this?
Well, Moss, in this game, I couldn't hit water if I fell out of a boat. I could not put the ball in the back of the net to save my life. So at that point, I said, y'all go shoot. I will get y'all the ball in front of the goal. I will bump and demo as many players as I need to make it easy for you. I couldn't shoot for anything.
Okay,
so
our producer actually just pulled up the shooting percentage. I want you to go ahead and say that again, producer, so that I can relay it to the audience. So Mango, you had a 13%.
Wow. 1-3? Not 3-1?
Not 3-1. Unfortunate. That would have put you above Piazzi, who had the highest shooting percentage on your entire team with 28.
That's pretty low.
That's pretty low. I do want to mention. I mentioned it before. I'm glad I'm learning Rocket League. As everybody knows, I had not been casting Rocket League before this. I was watching how many times you were just bumping the other players out of the way and making their life just incredibly, a lot more difficult than it was before then.
Right.
And you were just clearing the way for everybody to make those goals. And when, we've been talking about communication. How do you, as a Rocket League player, how do you communicate moments like that?
So we had a pretty good coaching session last semester with a former pro, and he told me, in particular, and he said it to them as well, but it was mainly meant for me when I was going through a play. If I can't hit the ball, hit a player. Yeah. So after I get rid of the ball and I'm rotating out, my goal is either steal boost or bump somebody. So a lot of times there would be moments where I would land on the back wall, or I would land and I'd be driving out and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get you. Yeah. And then I would go and bump them. But this team did a really great job of playing defense. Their defense was really, really solid. Yeah. But we also noticed that they have way too much faith in the one guy that's back to hit the ball. So if their one guy gets bumped, it's a goal. And we exploited that. I think I got Wyatt 4 goals or something like that, and Terry 2, just because they would put so much faith in that last man, because they are a good team, because they're so consistent, but they would put so much faith in that last man that when you get bumped like that, it just opens up the net. Yeah,
well, do want to mention now, because of the results of that game and every other game, after that, across all of Division 3 and NECC, you guys are now sitting alone at the first place here. The pinnacle of Division number 3 at 5-0, right above University of Puerto Rico, who's sitting at 4-1. And did you know that the only game that Puerto Rico lost was to the team you just played?
Really?
Yeah. University of North Georgia's 2 wins are against, one of them is Puerto Rico, and then I think the other one is the forfeit from Louisville.
So we have 2 more games to play. So we have to play that Puerto Rico team, and then we have to play, I don't even know who else we have to play.
I believe UCF got rescheduled, right?
It did get, you're right.
You haven't played.
So we have to play the 2 and the 3 still? Rats. That
Yeah.
stinks.
And I believe University of Puerto Rico is your guys' last game of the season.
Woo!
Yeah, so big one coming up there. But
I mean, can we get our producer to check the game records on those? I think our
game
records?
records?
Are better. Like game record, not just like
no,
series record.
they're like 18 and 12 or something like that. Puerto Rico. You guys
We ain't dropped that many.
You guys were like 16-0 going into this one.
What a record. Come on.
But
Go us.
yeah, after looking at those standings, I want to mention the last question. We're going into the last few weeks of both NACE and NECC.
Yep.
Guys are looking pretty good in both. What do you guys need to work on going over? What's the theme as we enter these last few weeks of the season?
So I think going into the latter half of the season, I think the overall consensus is that we just need to bury all of our bad habits. Like we've been really good at getting decent at all of our good stuff. But we need to also get better at getting rid of our bad stuff.
Yeah.
So we all have things that we can get better on, but we've all also done a lot of improving and a lot of growth in this semester individually.
Yeah.
So looking to see how we can get past some of our bad habits that we might have, and we can build off of that and maybe eliminate those altogether.
That's absolutely great thinking there. Yeah, and as I take a look at the TV up there, Puerto Rico was sitting at a 19-12 game record. So I was just one game off on the win side. I want someone to pat me on the back when I get back there. Shout out me. And last but not least, shout out you guys and everybody else in the Rocket League team. Congratulations for that win. High five. Before we send off, just for a couple minutes, anything you want to say, any people you want to shout out before we go ahead and send it to break?
Shout out Grandma.
Shout out Grandma, indeed. How about you? Anybody you got to shout out? Anything you want to say?
Nah, shout out Grandma.
Okay, well, anyways, that will do it for at least the first game we are going to show here at our debut show named the Buzzdown. Don't go anywhere because we have some fighting games up next with Street Fighter and then Tekken 8. Everybody go get a snack, come back, sit down, get comfy, and get ready for more Shenandoah Esports action.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway,
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the Esports Arena is the Esports War Room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Buzzdown here at the Shenandoah University Esports Arena in Winchester, Virginia. Next up, we will be heading over to Street Fighter 6, where Kenza will be facing, a few players from various colleges. And right now, my name is Brendan Moss, and I am joined here once again by Isaiah. How are you feeling today after that Rocket League match?
I'm feeling pretty good. I mean, Rocket League, we saw pretty close competition. It was very close coming down to the last game of a 7-game series. But I personally am ready to move over to Street Fighter 6. A little change of pace from what most would just say soccer to seeing some classics like Ryu and Ken making their appearance.
Dude, you know how long it's been since I've casted Street Fighter here at Shenandoah University?
How long?
Way too long. I can't do math right now. I can't remember the last month, but I do know it's been way too long. Last person, you want to know how long it's been? It's been so long that the last person I casted in Street Fighter was Way Awesome Kevin. Man, I miss that guy so much. You know, I think me and him actually have plans to go ahead and try out Alex, who is coming to Street Fighter very shortly on the 17th of March. I think everybody's excited about that. One of my favorite wrestlers, Kenny Omega, actually did mocap for him. Now, see, this is what's great. I'm just realizing I can yap about something I love so much. I love talking about Street Fighter. It's just so much fun. It's just so much fun, man.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I was playing Street Fighter for a bit there back when Street Fighter 5 was the big one, but I didn't really start like trying to learn Street Fighter until Street Fighter 6, where I was going to try the new characters like Luke, and they were like, he's the new face of Street Fighter before like Ryu showed up. But I got in, and I had to, of course, I had to go with Ken Masters. I mean, I kind of like Ken. I mean, I play Smash, and I'm not going to lie, although not the same in the way the games are played, I choose Ken over Ryu whenever I can in that one.
I thought I could get away from the Smash representation here on the stream, but unfortunately unable to do that. That sucks. Sorry. That's a little bit of bias coming out from me. I like my normal fighters a lot more than Smash, although it's cool I can play as Cloud in Smash Brothers. That's like the redeeming quality that it has, is that there's some Final Fantasy representation in there. But like I mentioned, we are here to watch Kenza in the CFGC. I believe we have 2 matches today, and before we go into any of these matches, we are going to go ahead and talk about some of the characters he is going to be facing today, one of which you've already mentioned. That is going to be Ken. He's taking on a Ken here, and if anybody watching knows anything about Street Fighter, especially SF6, it's that Ken is really good.
I mean, I can't disagree.
He's a really good character.
I am a Ken player. I'm not up there. Now, mind you, we're going to see some way better players tonight between Kenza and his opponent here. But I want you to know that as Ken, the way you can set up, you've got one kick. You can land that kick, bounce your opponent immediately, hit an uppercut that Shoryuken that everybody knows, and be like, well, now you're stuck. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, and as we know, Kenza likes to play Terry, so we're going to see a battle of the Shotos here. Now, if you don't know, Shotos means it's your classic fighting game character. With a fireball, we're going to set our projectiles off rip. Terry, for just real quickly, not the best character in the game, really high execution. Takes a lot of work to be able to understand his combos and his just flow chart, essentially. A lot of delayed inputs needed, and it's going to mean a little bit of struggle here to start off from Kenza, but gets a little bit of combo, gets some stage spacing there, now set back to the middle.
Yeah, and I mean, we see the fireballs there, keeping the distance between Ken and Terry, as Ken is looking for that opening that he wants, as Kenza responds immediately, just wailing on the Ken, pushing him into the corner to try and keep this advantage that he currently has on Ken, but Ken responding with an enhanced uppercut.
Yeah, that overdrive on the wake-up is going to do a lot of damage there, and that grab is going to finish it off. As we know, Ken does a whole lot of damage, especially compared to Terry, who, the problem with Terry is that, like I mentioned before, high execution, but doesn't get as much damage as a character like Ken does on like half the amount of button press, and just absolutely just smash against him with there, trying to get him back to the other side of the stage. Now he fights back with a bit of a combo there. Now trying to keep him away with both players playing keep away right now with some projectiles.
Yeah, and we see Ken rushing in, immediately reading what Kenza's looking for here from with the Terry jump. But Ken really keeping this distance as he wakes up, gets a punish counter with that overdrive there. Kenza trying to get something with the drive attack there, but it's just not enough to really get anything going on this Ken.
Yeah, that overdrive sure you can just absolutely doing all the damage that Ken needs pretty much every single time. Now playing keep away with the projectiles, the Hadoukens, not doing any damage, but keeping the spacing exactly where the Ken player wants it to be. But now that low kick, gonna get a little bit of damage here, and now Kenza sends the Ken back over to the other side, gets a grab after that crack shoot. Now waiting out the jump, but drive rush into a throw, not going to work as Kenza gets out of that with a throw escape, dodges over the next throw. Now both players looking for an opening.
Yeah, we see this parry system really getting put to use as both characters very close to the end of their line as Terry uses his overdrive there to take this round against the Ken, putting them into the final round of this match.
Yeah, Kenza fighting back there, tying it up here in the first set. In CFGC, we'll say it's a best of 5, but you play out all 5 sets. And right now, Kenza starting off here, hot here, looking to take this first set. Shoryuken doesn't get anything right there. It's going to pay dividends there for Kenza, who gets a good bit more damage, hasn't taken any hits yet until this throw. And right now, he has to look out. You just got thrown, but it doesn't matter. You stay aggressive, and you get up there. You want to keep him in the corner, but that overdrive is going to stop him, and that level 2, I think, comes out, and it's going to do the job there for Kenza as he takes this first set.
I mean, it was an incredible show there. That Ken really applying the pressure there to Kenza, keeping that Terry out as we saw both players using the projectiles as needed to keep that range that they were looking for. But it's showing right now, we're seeing that distance you're putting in and the damage that Ken can put on a character shows that it's going to be a real struggle here for Kenza trying to engage on on Ken here.
Yeah, but, figured it out, found a strategy, and it worked there for this first set as Kenza takes that into this next one. Up 1-0 in this best of 5. You play all 5 out right now. Going into set number 2, no projectiles. Off rip, we're starting off again with a couple projectiles. Gets a little bit of damage on both sides. That parry, huge parry there, going to help Ken get some offense in. Gets a little bit of a combo into this throw. Now swap sides, trying to put Kenza in the corner with that Shoryuken, and he does get some more punches out of that, but right now, Kenza looking to fight back, slows it down a little bit, trying to find an opening.
Yeah, we see the enhanced power wave there, trying to get some damage in, but Ken really applying this pressure as Kenza looking for that opening, getting some damage off here, but the fireball there to counter Terry and take the last little bit of that health bar.
It's really funny because every time one of them throws out a projectile, the other one throws it out at the same time. It's like they're reading each other's minds, but like one projectile is going to win out every single time. It just has to happen like that. And right now, Kenza keeping up the aggression. Drive rushes, looking for a combo out of that low kick to high kick. Gets some work, gets some damage out of that, but we know not enough. Terry doesn't have a lot of that.
Yeah, we see looking for that opening, using the crack shoot to jump over the fireball as Ken is going to get this throw to try and keep Kenza in the corner with that parry, helping keep that defense up that Terry is looking for to try and put more damage on, even though Terry does struggle to do that.
Yeah, Ken trying to jump out, but that crack shoot stops him in his tracks, and Kenza takes advantage of that. Finishes the combo, able to go into this last round here with his level 3. That's what Ken's going to have to worry about. But Ken, on the other hand, also has his level 3. So both players have to be very cautious here going into this last round.
Yeah, the amount of damage that these level 3s could do to someone. I mean, and you got to watch, and there we see right there, Ken using the kick to set up the use of his level 3 to really put the numbers in on Terry here.
Yeah, right now Ken hasn't taken any damage. Terry at about 50% health. Both players throwing out projectiles and parrying each other. Right now Ken jumping over that power geyser. Oh my god, into that Tatsumaki. Gonna parry a few shots there, but low kick into burn knuckle. Going to get back some spacing here for Kenza, but tries to send out another projectile. Gets paid back for it and loses this round as he loses the second set. Now players tied at 1 apiece.
I mean, that damage we saw right there, the versatility that Ken has and just the way he's able to move. Like we saw, he took a little stance. You saw the little sparks fly and boom, immediately Ken's foot is on fire. I mean, what is that? I mean, Terry, he's got his burning knuckle, but I just saw Ken use a flaming kick numerous times. Yeah,
I mean, Ken just kind of has everything. Excuse me, that was Power Wave. I don't want... Power Geyser is the level 2 version of that, like punch on the ground that Terry does that kind of acts as a projectile, even though it just goes along the ground. But right now, a couple Hadoukens trying to open up the space there for Ken to make his advance onto Kenza. But the Power Wave trying to stop him at least for a second, but Ken jumps over that now into a combo. Tatsumaki on the wake up. Kenza trying to look for an answer. so that he doesn't fall too far behind here in this round number 1 of game number 3.
Yeah, we see Terry really on the defensive here, looking for that opening as we see the low into high into the burning knuckle that we have seen Terry using, but the wake up short and overdrive short you can to get Ken out of the corner and put some more damage there on Kenza as we see the damage is just stacking as Terry's back in the corner that he worked so hard to get out of.
Yeah, and right now Kenza's taking advantage of just jabbing like it's Tekken right now, and it's going to cost him the round, unfortunately, as he just kept pressing buttons. And Ken takes the round number 1 here in game number 3. Unfortunate, I guess when you play a little bit too much Tekken, you start jabbing a lot, and you forget that the other character can kind of just do whatever he wants out of that.
Yeah, we see immediately even those jabs being used to set up a combo there, put some damage on Terry, doing a lot of inputs to get that damage off, but Ken saying, I can hit you with a fireball, and I'm going to match that as we see the jump is countered by a throw, putting Ken in the corner, but Ken gets out of it by throwing Kenza right back towards the middle.
Yeah, right now that drive impact going to stun Ken, and rising tackle, Terry gets him into the corner, takes a little bit of damage, and throws him right back into it. He said, come back here, I'm getting you, I am making sure I win this round, but the parry's going to stop him for a second. However, low kick takes the round there from Kenza. Great work there, making sure, he grabbed his arm, told Ken, come back here, you're not getting out of that one.
Yeah, I mean, now both going into round 3, we see an early start, both using an overdrive to deal some damage. Ken doing a bit more, as we've talked about, but both players also have level 3 supers, so we might see something similar here as Ken does that combo he knows best to rip his level 3 and really put some damage in on Terry.
Yeah, that's going to do a lot. Now Kenza, however, has level 3 still, so can still get good amount of damage. However, he's going to have to try to find his way in after a couple of Dukins fly his way. Drive parry is going to allow Ken to get a grab. Now, Kenza's sitting at almost no damage. I think that's going to be it, and it is. That drive rush absolutely doing wonders there for Ken, who takes game number 3, now leading the series 2-1 as we head into game number 4. Best of 5. We play all 5. Right now, both players kind of going back and forth, and I think that the biggest thing is that Terry, man, that like a damage, dude. That's a struggle. Every time I watch a Terry, it's like, man, I love Terry, and then you realize like he pressed like 10 times the amount of buttons the other player pressed, and he got like nothing out of it. And it's like, oh man. And then Ken just fires back and does what he wants because he's Ken.
Yeah, I mean, one could even say it's kind of, you're one of those famous characters from Street Fighter. As we see the kicks already dealing some damage, but knowing Ken, because he's been the rival to Ryu, and most of us that have played Street Fighter know they're up there. As we see, Ken is just wailing the damage here on Terry. Terry using an overdrive wake up to get some damage done, but already on the ropes here, putting the damage back on to see what he can work with, but he's got to be very cautious because one jab could be it.
Yeah, a wake up OD rising tackle, and another rising tackle right there. Absolutely helping Kenza out here, trying to tie up in the health region. However, few kicks, few punches on the side of Ken is going to slow him down. However, crack shoot gets a good amount of damage there. Now drive rush looking for that kill and gets it. Takes the first round here in game number 4, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, what a comeback there from Kenza. Just the way he started playing defensively, changed the strategy, the pace of the fight as we were getting very close there to seeing Ken take that round.
Yeah, and right now, huge, perfect parry right there into the counter. Crack shoot, doesn't get anything out of it, but Ken wakes up and he just sends another crack shoot there, and that's going to help out. Now, Ken back in the corner, looking to Hadouken his way out of this. Drive rush into the punch. Cancels that into a drive parry, doesn't get anything. Jumps up, blocks an attack from Kenza, and able to get a grab out of that. Now, both players fighting from the neutral, fighting from the middle of the stage.
Yeah, we see just Kenza wailing, immediately gets the burning knuckle into a level 3 art. And if I'm correct, this is going to be enough because
This should be enough, yeah.
And there it is. That's going to seal it there for Kenza, and Kenza will take this round, tying the series, I believe, 2-2.
Yeah, 2-2 now, tied going into this last game. I'm having so much fun, man, watching Street Fighter, and we get to go to game 5 off rip where neither player had hit 3 yet. This is what I live for. This is what I wake up every day hoping to see.
Yeah, I mean, we're just seeing it's great plays, both sides. Like you're saying, if one's going to throw a projectile, then the other says, well, I've got one too, so I'm going to use it because you want to keep the distance, so I want to keep the distance. As we head into the next round, and it looks like immediately back up, both players playing defensive, waiting to see what the other is going to do.
Yeah, I mean, Terry's quote-unquote projectile, the problem with that is that it goes along the ground, so inherently the idea is that Ken sends out the Hadouken and rushes forward. The power wave along the bottom of the ground is supposed to slow him down, but if Ken can just jump over and then ensue to do this, you kind of just like don't really worry about it to begin with. Now Ken's sitting in the corner, getting thrown, hopefully not into a thrown loop. Drive rush going to keep that combo going into a Shoryuken for Ken, but now throws himself into the corner because he does not care.
Yeah, we see the health disparity right now. Ken's getting some damage there, but really down right now as Ken is going to keep trying to wail on Terry, but it's not enough. But he will respond with an overdrive Shoryuken to take this first round in Game 5.
I think this guy's muscle memory is genuinely, okay, other player whiffed, okay, OD Shoryuken.
Yeah.
Other player whiffed, oh, I'm waking up, OD Shoryuken. And you know what, to be fair, that's pretty much every Ken.
Yeah. I mean, I can't agree. It's a pretty strong move, so it does some damage, and we see right here, I mean, already dealing more damage, and you'll have to explain it to me, but I'm seeing it. Ken is using, it seems like almost different kinds of kicks to set up different combos.
Yeah, I mean, that's just when it comes to, different routes and stuff when it comes to, but right now, that all doesn't matter. As a level 3 pops out from Ken, now looking, I think that doesn't kill, but it gets really close. Ken's going to wake up, though, in the corner, and now it's going to be a show to get out. Drive rush, straight into a grab. That's the definition of Street Fighter 6, unfortunately. Ken gets the win through that absurd move and takes the series against Kenza 3-2.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think is going on in Kenza's head? I mean, if anything...
I have a few ideas.
Because I was going to say, if I know for me, I get rattled if I see what many would say those 7 golden letters of a perfect. I mean, and that's only the first match that we are going to see Kenza playing in Street Fighter tonight.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what do you think he's thinking about as he heads towards this next one?
If you look at it right now, a lot of Hadoukens getting thrown his way, unfortunately. And when that happens, you have to try to fight it off with the power waves because, that slows him down. Ken tries to follow. Every time he throws a Hadouken, you can just either imagine he's just like, I don't know what to do, so I'm going to throw those. Or I want to get closer to you, so I'm going to throw those and run after that because you're going to have to block it or do something. So the power wave's there to counter it. However, he just... he's Ken, so he just either jumps over it or just parries it and then follows up anyways because he can just get into his run canceling. He doesn't even need the drive rush, if we're being honest. But right now, that doesn't matter. It was still close to begin with, so Kenza, I wouldn't feel too bad right now going into this one. I think the biggest thing is that you're just facing Ryu now after just having faced Ken, which is, kind of tough.
Yeah, and I mean, we see it right there as the round opened. It was immediately Power Wave and Hadouken met each other yet again, but immediately Ryu putting the pressure on Terry here in the corner, keeping him right there as we see him throw him right back into the corner. Kenza jumping out, getting the crack shoot off to deal some damage and set up what he needs to get this throw, and it will be enough to take the first round of Game 1 against this Ryu.
Yeah, I think he's just taking out all his anger that he has from the Ken matchup, because every time you face Ken, you get angry, and then you see it Ryu, and you're like, oh man, this guy's a ray gun for a level 1, and you get a little annoyed right now. But Ryu going to take advantage of all of that drive rush bar. He's not burnt out, but he has Kenza in the corner, so he's going to look to take advantage of it. Blocks the drive impact, but that creates space there for Kenza to throw out a crack shoot, get some drive rush, power waves in, straight into a burn knuckle. Now has Ryu on the other side. Drive impacts him into a stun on the corner. Now this is where you want your combo to go. Is he going to use a level 1? No, he's going to save it at least for now. But that puts him back into a corner. Now a little bit scared. The pressure keeping on from Ryu, who now is going to go straight into a level 3. And this is unfortunately going to take the round here for Ryu. I think? Oh, no, I'm wrong. This thing is not even close to done. At least for a second, I lied. I am the best at caster cursing here as Ryu takes the second round here.
Yeah, we're headed into round 3 there. I mean, you had me at that. It looked like it was going to take the round there.
I think it's just because I saw the damage from the begin with, and I didn't measure where it started at, and that's just on me. But right now, Ken's going to jump in, get the burn knuckle, start off this round pretty hot.
Yeah, and immediately dealing that damage. Ryu playing that defensive, rushing in to grab Kenza, and to grab him again as a punish to deal some extra damage there and put him in a better spot against Terry here.
Yeah, with grab is going to allow Kenza to jump to the other side, go for some mix-ups there, but perfect parry now going to set Ryu up for a combo. Tatsumaki's his way to the other side of the stage. Huge jump to make Ryu with there, but going to block those punches into a grab. Parries the next few. Crackshoot gets a little bit of damage, but both players still fighting, trying to gain a little bit of momentum here.
Yeah, we see the health bar is just almost similar with Ryu kind of down right now, but responding with a throw of his own and an overdrive Hadoken is going to take game 1 in Ryu's favor.
I mean, that's just rough. I mean, with Street Fighter, how this works is that, drive rush, they can get into your face almost immediately and just grab you. They could also just OD you on your wake up. So there's like 5 million possibilities. You got to think of when you wake up. And honestly, Ryu has so many options that, like, no matter what he did there, it's going to be hard to get out of that one.
Yeah, and we'll see as we head into game 2. Kenza immediately ripping that burning knuckle to put some damage on, but Ryu responding immediately with Tatsumaki just to respond and grabbing Kenza out of the parry to really keep wailing on him and putting him in this corner disadvantage, if you will.
Yeah, Ryu in a burnout, but that's not going to stop him from going on the offense. Sends a Hadouken out, going to cost him a little bit of chip damage, but doesn't get anything out of it. Right now, Terry looking a little rough there as he takes another throw, and the drive rush, 3 throws back to back to back. Oh, that's Street Fighter 6 for you.
Yeah, I'll be honest, that's almost exactly what I do. If I don't know what else to do, I say I'm going to run up and I'm going to throw you, because Street Fighter, that's what you're looking for. As we see Power Wave and Hadoken meet each other yet again, only Power Wave getting blocked, but Terry Graben says it doesn't matter if you hit me with that fireball, because I'm going to put the damage on you that I can, even if it's not too much.
Yeah, and honestly, didn't think he was going to be able to parry that drive impact. He does, however, gets the reaction speed working, and a lot of damage here that Kenza is taking. A throw is going to make it even worse. Drive rush into another throw. Both players with a throw. Not fighting anything else yet. Now, both, Terry looking a little bit scared trying to get in, but gets in with the bird knuckle. Drive rush, looking for a power wave there, but gets stopped and stunned and thrown for the round loss here to lose game number 2.
Yeah, I mean, Moss, I'm going to be honest, that one was fast.
Yeah.
Ryu said, I've got a job, I want to get this job done, and I want to clock out and go home.
Yeah. Ryu players, so this is one, Ryu players are pretty funny people, they like pressing buttons a lot. And when I say pressing buttons to the general audience, it just means it's like you just kind of throw moves out. You don't stop throwing moves out. You just keep it going, and then eventually, when it connects, you're like, okay, great, combo time. And Ryu can just afford to do that because of how much damage he does and how many options he does. It kind of makes the other player, they have to be wary of entering, because stuff like that can just happen on a whim.
Yeah, I mean, and we see it there immediately punishing any parry with a grab, dealing damage. And we see Ryu throwing out any option that he can to get a combo started. Like you're saying, just pressing the buttons, trying to find something to set up the moves he actually wants.
Yeah, and, Street Fighter tried balancing the throw game, which is what Ryu is using a lot here, by if you tech the throw, you get a little bit of your drive gauge back. But it would seem that this Ryu does not care as he goes for another throw and wins this round number 1 here in game number 3. Yeah, he just doesn't care. He's going into burnout a lot, too. He's kind of just using his arsenal, at a whim without doing any resource control. It's very interesting.
Yeah, we see an early punish counter there with the throw from Kenza, but it is immediately responded with Tatsumaki to deal the damage, as a drive impact is going to stun the Ryu, allowing Kenza to attempt crack shoot into rising tackle, but the rising tackle does not connect.
Yeah, but Bird Knuckle is going to get some damage here. Now, Kenza has the Ryu in a corner, and he's going to take advantage of it and get the round. That's his first round in a few of them. Going to try and bounce back here as he needs to if he wants to try to win this best of 5. Now has to be when he answers. Going to back up a little bit, makes the Ryu whiff on that punch, but now he's blocking into a drive rush. Going to get that huge kick into that throw. Now has Kenza in the corner, into another throw. Will he get a throw loop? Both players jump. Kenza punches out of it to at least keep the Ryu at bay for now until another throw.
Yeah, and Ryu just building that pressure. Both characters at a level 3, so both players are wary, but Hadoken keeping the burning knuckle out, as we see Kenza getting that damage in, really setting himself up into the level 3, which has become a critical art because of Terry's health.
Yeah, huge critical art there on the side. Terry has him in the corner. He's going to have to do something right here. He cannot let up if he wants to win this. Unfortunately, though, not going to finish that one off. Not going to be able to complete the comeback as Ryu takes this round as well to take the series 3-0. But like I mentioned, we do play all 5 sets here in the CFGC.
Yeah, I mean, this Ryu, he is, as you said, he's pressing buttons. I mean, I don't think I've seen Ryu stop acting. Even if Terry and Kenza are nowhere nearby, Ryu's throwing something out.
Yeah, Ryu's throwing something out, or he's throwing Kenza. It's one or the other. It's honestly one or the other because, you know what, remember the fire hydrant counter back of house? I wish we had a throw counter just from this Ryu as he Tatsumaki's Kenza into the corner. Now looking for a huge kick, gets it, and to another throw. Very close to that perfect, that OD rising tackle. Going to get some space there for Kenza, at least for a moment, until another throw from a drive rush position. Few punches, few jabs to try and space him out, but that round is over pretty quickly.
Yeah, I mean, the pressure that Ryu was just putting on there, especially with the throwing Kenza almost immediately. I mean, we're seeing it here. Immediately both players back up, but jab, jab, jab into Tatsumaki, and it's just continues the assault here on Terry, putting him in the corner. He's stuck, he's trapped, he's taking a beating. Tatsumaki again, but it's countered by Buster Wolf to get to Ryu off of him.
He said, please just get away from me. Stop putting me back here. I hate it. both characters throw out a parry. Doesn't really do much. Now Ryu gonna over OD Shoryuken into a win there for Ryu. Now taking game number 4. Looking a bit rough here for Kenza.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be something. I mean, you're playing a character who doesn't do too much damage, but you're up against a character that his whole job is, I'm going to press buttons, I'm going to see how much damage I do, and if that fails, I'm going to keep pressing buttons to see what happens.
Yeah, and honestly, what's throwing Kenza off a lot right here is he's getting caught by that high blade kick quite a bit. And that's just opening Ryu for whatever he wants to do, especially this drive rush into throws, which is that those whiff throws are going to lead to some damage there from Kenza. But now both players paused. Ryu looking for an opening. It's going to drive rush straight into Kenza's throw, who's now like, my turn. I'm tired of this. I'm going to throw you. And I'm going to low kick into a combo, get some kicks in, get some burn knuckles, and I'm going to trying to jump over any attack and trade into a throw. You're now in burnout, buddy. Try to get out.
Yeah, and we see immediately rising tackle to get that reversal and take out the Ryu. And it was an OD, so that means like there was some damage put in.
Disrespectful.
But yeah, it's just what can Terry do? That damage is just the differential between those characters.
Yeah, right. That whiff, huge duck there from Ryu, who's just throwing. That's like 3 throws and like 5. What are we doing? What is happening? Why are we? Stop throwing! I'm getting tired of this. Burn Knuckle gets the Ryu into the corner, who perfect parries, who tries a perfect parry, gets him out of there. That parry is going to help out. Another throw escape, and catching the jump there with the Shoryuken. Kenza has a level 3 if he wants it. Ryu at a level 2. That throw, however, is going to be what he goes with. Into another throw, into another. No, okay. Oh, yeah, there it is. I was looking for that one. There's Kenza's looking to get out. Into another throw. Drive rushes into another throw. Jeez, man. Okay, now we get a combo going. Now we're playing some Street Fighter. It has the Ryu in a corner who tries to low kick his way out to try and stop him. Kenza redeems himself by winning the last set. Still losing the series 4-1, but big win at least for your mental going into the next week.
Yeah, and I mean, at this rate, from what I saw in that game and what I saw from even with the Ken, it's almost like you don't really need the rest of the moves when playing Street Fighter. If you know what the throw inputs are, then you might as well just run up, throw.
What is this button? Tatsumaki? Oh, that's cool. High blade kick, got it. Shoryuken? Oh, cool. That's a throw button? All right, that's all I need. That's all I need. Let's go. I'm going to throw. And then everybody just ends up... I think... you know what? I think it's honestly because, like, I will say I am a player that if I'm getting thrown, I'm going to just start throwing at a whim too. And just to be like, all right, I could do that too. Yeah, watch this, buddy. And then what ends up happening is that everybody starts whiffing throws and trying to drive rush into throws. And so everybody's getting grabbed and thrown everywhere. And it's just anarchy.
Yeah, and I mean, like we saw those punish counters, the little feature there, like where we got the little zoom in on the throw, those are just devastating. Like the damage that gets scaled up just a tad bit for those throws. I mean, Ken and Ryu, they were using it.
they were using it. Kenza getting put in the corner a lot that series, but towards the end finding his way out of it by using OD rising tackle when Ryu least expected it. So, fortunately able to get at least one set out of that best of 5. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the stats here from Kenza. I wish we had the throws as a stat. That's what I would have liked. But you know what I do like? I like the fact that Kenza is coming back here to talk to us about those 2 series himself. Going to mention, at least before he gets on the mic here, he had, I believe, 3 sets won, 7 sets lost, 10 rounds won, and 15 rounds lost. So I would be honest, while you lose both series, the set, the rounds weren't that far apart. The round differential wasn't crazy. There's just making a few mistakes here and there, not getting the momentum. What do you think you got caught up with too much in those past 2 games?
I would say I had a really bad loss against that Ken, and it kind of sent me into a frenzy to where I was in the worst mindset. And I wouldn't say I'm pretty high ranked, but I'm above average player, but that was just I was just not in the right mind to tech any throws, to punish anything. I got shaken off my game real bad this time around.
Yeah, we mentioned, I wish I need to go through that replay of just a 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 100 on how many throws that Ryu would throw out per round. When you kind of get in a... When you start when it rains, it pours, right? And you're put in a corner and Ryu is just continuously throwing out, and you have to make a decision. That's the thing with fighting games. You have to make the decision immediately after, even though there's 5 million options. You're put in the corner and you're expecting a throw, or you're expecting this. What's your thought process in moments like that?
Well, since like you said, there's millions of options, I'm kind of always playing chess with my opponent, and I would say... Usually when you're kind of down back against the corner, one of the best things you can do is to kind of take that moment to breathe, but you don't want to take too long because you get thrown like I did over and over again. But also, the way I was taught how to play was you don't always ODDP, because ODDP is the thing that just full invincibility, cuts through absolutely anything. Yeah. And that's not that wasn't the player I was taught how to be. So I, don't always use that option, but I started using it, as you saw in that last game against the Ryus, where I was like, who do I think I am? And so it was it's kind of how seriously do you take yourself? And also it's knowing the character. I know with Terry on my Wake Up, I have access to ODDP, but other characters like Bison on Wake Up, he just kind of has to take the mix because he doesn't have anything to protect him.
Yeah, and you saw, like you mentioned, you ended up changing up your strategy there at the end, and it was able to help you take a series off that. Now, we know this is, I believe, the 2nd week of the regular season for CFGC, and you also play in Tekken, which we'll talk to you about that later, but for now, what are you looking for? What are your goals for the rest of the season here in CFGC for Street Fighter specifically?
I would say one of the more common goals is just to win a bit more. It's so simple, but being a traditionally 3D fighter, I'll say I enjoy how good I am at Tekken most times, but just throughout the season, I would like to just become a better Street Fighter player. I love the game and I love the graphics and I love Terry to death, but I think overall I just want to spend more time getting adjusted to how people play, and I think one of the things I'm going to work on is just adapting faster.
So before I ask a bit of a selfish question, do you have anything you want to ask Kenza, Isaiah?
I don't have anything. I mean, you kind of you were covering over. I mean, looking over, what was personally your favorite thing that you went into the match?
That's good. That's good.
Right now, it's looking on the TV. We can see. It looks like your favorite stat is being thrown.
I don't know if the audience can see that. Can I get a check from the producer? Can the audience see this right now? Could they see that? Okay, great. Yeah. So on the screen, real quick, we changed the stat board apparently, and the stat was thrown ? And it just said yes, which is true because that was. Real quick, what's your mindset when you get thrown the 3rd time in a row?
I get really pissed off. It's kind of That's why throw loops are so strong in this game.
Yeah.
Because you're like, surely they won't throw me a third time in a row.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to tech the throw. And then I get thrown again. And all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that was the rest of my health bar. I just lost.
And the problem with it is it's so easy to get put in a throw loop, and it's so easy to do a throw loop that's the first thing you expect half the time on wake up when you're in a corner. But if you whiff a throw, you're dead. So like if you go, because in order to, for those that don't know, in order to like throw escape, so get out of the throw, you have to press the same buttons to throw. So if the player actually doesn't go for, if the other player doesn't go for that, what ends up happening is they will either jump or back up, and you'll just go like that, and then you're like, uh-oh, and then you just die. And that's just kind of frustrating. So yeah, that's really tough, especially when you're facing a Ryu, and Ryu players are something else. They are a struggle to fight against. They live on different planets. They have a different mindset completely, and honestly, it's pretty impressive. But before we go, I want to ask you, actually, you know what I'll do? I'm going to ask you a selfish question. How excited are you for Alex? Because I'm excited. I'm so excited.
I've never been a grappler player, but I'm going to go and play Alex, actually, and have some fun outside of my finger-breaking character.
Best theme song in the game. And everybody needs it. You just need to look up Alex SF6 like theme song. It's great. Before we go, anybody you want to shout out, anything you just want to say to our audience?
Shout out my mom.
Shout out mom. I agree. That's always a good use of a shout out. Now, however, that will do it for our second game here, but we still have one game remaining. That is going to be Kenza playing Tekken. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back in a few minutes.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
Over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
Nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway.
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
Cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry, so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth, where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the Esports Arena is the Esports War Room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to the Buzzdown here at the Shenandoah University Esports Arena in Winchester, Virginia. Next up, we'll be heading over to Tekken 8, where Kenza will have 2 matches to play here in Week 2 of CFGC regular season. My name is Brendan Moss, and I am once again, for the 3rd time today, joined here by Isaiah. Isaiah, how are you doing after, going through some Rocket League and Street Fighter earlier?
I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say I'm pretty tired though. I mean, we're seeing seven games of Rocket League, watching 10 games of Street Fighter. I mean, we've been going.
Keep going. I'm ready to keep
me
going.
too. I mean, Tekken. I have been learning a lot about Tekken.
Yeah.
Especially because I'm just trying to figure out who I want to be right now. My main characters. I rotate between Kazuya and Jin. But I have also added in Leo and Hwoarang.
Wait, who and
Hwoarang
I know Hwoarang.
and Leo.
Leo, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotcha. Well, we'll say why. Everybody has to pick, I guess, the main character of the game. Is that what you like?
Yeah, I just think Jin is pretty cool. Ironically, it's not because of Tekken, though. It was because I played Project X Zone on the DS. It was just a random thing,
You play Ken because of Smash, you play Jin because of Project X Zone. Crazy work here, but guess what? We will be going into this game shortly here. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I think I do know what characters we will be playing against. Kenza will be playing against. Now, let's first rep back. Let's go to Kenza. Right now, I didn't mention for Street Fighter, so I'm going to mention for Street Fighter real quick. Kenza is 66 out of 87 on the standings, 7 and 28 in terms of sets. But the more important thing right now, because we're about to go into Tekken, is his Tekken ranking. Right now, he is number 21 on the standings out of 50 players, sitting at 23 sets won, 57. Hold on. 23 games won, so games as in you win 3 rounds, that's a game. And then 17 games lost, which you lose three rounds, that is a game lost. Now, of course, he plays Lars, who is a mix-up kind of character, stance character, kind of there to just make the other player guess themselves, guess what's about to happen, because he has a couple options coming out of each stance that he gets into. So you're kind of just putting the other player in a decision paralysis. That's essentially what Lars's whole goal is I'm going to spin around 5 times and then I hit you with a move that you didn't expect, that you thought it was going to be a low, but it's actually high. And you're like, how did you just hit me with a high out of a low stance? That makes no sense. And it's just supposed to put him in decision paralysis. But now I believe the 2 characters that he will be playing against are Clive and Leroy.
You're telling me that he's going up against Clive from Final Fantasy 16?
Yes. Critically acclaimed, fantastic game, Final Fantasy 16.
Well, as much as I'm excited to see what Kenza's got for us, I can't lie. Clive is up there. It's one of my favorite characters
Clive
in the game.
is awesome. I can't lie. He's awesome. Tekken players don't really feel the same, but you know what? I don't really care how they feel. I love that Final Fantasy characters are in Tekken because I love Final Fantasy. And right now we're going to go straight into this. That is a Dragon Ball reference. I know what you are.
I would say I don't see Clive. I see
Trunks,
right?
right?
Kenza's currently fighting Trunks from Dragon Ball. But we see the health bars are pretty even here, and luckily they're showing us some of the damage is getting hit, but immediately Clive is wailing here on Kenza, trying to deal some damage. As we see, Kenza's already able to perform a Rage Art if need be.
Yeah, Rage Art, but he's going to save that for now. He's going to use his Heat Engager to extend his combo a bit, switches between some stances, keeps the pressure onto Clive, who was unable to do anything just yet. But those dashes are what you have to look out for. Those Phoenix shifts are going to get him closer. However, unable to finish it, and Kenza takes this first round. Now, one thing to look out for Clive, a few things to look out for, because he has those, I think they're called Phoenix shifts or something. It's when you see him teleport and get closer to the opponent, and then he also has a really good forward 1+2, which spaces them out. That's a sword swing, so he has a bit more range than Lars does.
Yeah, but as you're saying, as you were mentioning before, the way that Kenza is using Lars to mix up what he wants to do, changing those stances, really applying the pressure, keeping Clive on the ground. And we see Clive whipping a Rage Art to escape more damage, and immediately we're seeing the power of Ifrit's dominance showing up in this Tekken match.
All right, so the thing to note with Lars, that's not gonna kill him just yet. Obviously, he has a little bit more. He has his Heat Smash, which is just gonna wake up Heat Smash. That's essentially the equivalent of wake up OD on a Shoto character in Street Fighter. Like the same kind of decision made right there, and that's going to win him the round. The thing with Lars is that, you know, you want to try to get in those stances and essentially freak out the other player and be like, make him guess what you're going to do. However, when you're in those stances, you can't block. So sometimes if the other player is just kind of scared, and I mean, I don't even have time to analyze this. He just perfected Clyde. But I guess now I do have a second dimension. When you are, you know, spinning around in those stances trying to freak out the other player, you are defenseless. So if the player is like, keeps, you know, calm about the situation, there's a lot of options they have. And, you know, one of the options is just hit your Rage Art, because it doesn't matter if you get hit through that, because it's like it's shielded, obviously. So when you hit your Rage Art, you'll take damage, but if it's not going to kill you, it doesn't stop the Rage Art. So as long as they don't block it, it goes through anyways. We'll say Clive also, we saw that before. He had a big arm come out. That's a Power Crush move, which also has armor. You got to watch out for that if you're playing against Clive.
Yeah, now, and I haven't played Final Fantasy 16, but I'm noticing that it looks like Clive is almost summoning some other things to help him out in this fight. I'm pretty sure I saw a wolf kind of run by at the end of that last round.
Yes, shout out Torgal, and you know what? This player's name is Buff Torgal, and that's awesome. However, not buff enough to block that damage, as right now the heat bar inside of Kenza is doing a lot of work, uses the Heat Smash, doesn't get anything out of it, but it does pause the decision making on the side of Clive, on the side of Buff Torgal, who ends up losing the round because of that.
Yeah, we see that sword slash and the dash just dealing some damage there to Kenza, kind of faking out if it's going to be a slash or a low sliding kick. But Lars immediately dealing some damage and starting to spin, really making Clive think here, as we see Clive starting to deal that damage and really put Kenza up against the wall, which could spell some doom here for Kenza and Lars.
Yeah, luckily able to get out of that one. Clive tries to use the help of his dominance to get through that, but unable to. Now the Heat Engager going to help out Kenza as he looks to win this round. Now Clive has the Rage Art. He has a chance. He's taking a bit of chip damage, but he's going to get that 1+2 plus the Lightning Staff. Got to do a bit more damage. We're in slow motion, but the high kick takes the round there for Kenza as he's on game point here in game number 2.
We see immediately a tornado launch there coming from Clive, and Clive finally hitting that combo that he's been seeking there, really dealing the damage, launching Lars and Kenza yet again, and Kenza playing a bit more defensively as Clive has taken an early lead here, but luckily responds with a tornado of his own and dealing some immense damage with this combo.
Yeah, Clive unfortunately didn't really optimize that combo earlier. Could have got a bit more damage out of it, and then just ended up flipping sides. And now on his back foot, not able to find anything right now as Kenza is pressing buttons, stops for the second, blocks the low, huge low block, now gets sent into the combo, has Clive stunned out, not much health left, but he has the Rage Art if he really needs to use it. Phoenix shifts into a low, now going to keep the offense going, both players looking for an opening. Kenza opts for a jump kick right there, not a jump kick, but you know, gets in there with a high kick, immediate hit, and is going to take the round right there. I stumbled over my words a little bit, but Kenza, on the other hand, did not stumble over his button presses and able to take this second game.
Yeah, and I mean, like you're saying, for what we're seeing here from Kenza and Lars, I mean, the speed that Kenza is entering that stance and almost immediately is spinning and just mixing up this Clive, it's showing that he's in this Clive's head and causing that panic that you're saying the players against Lars have to watch out for.
Yeah, and I can't believe I almost forgot about this, but this Clive that Kenza is currently playing, they actually played each other last week, and the Clive went over big time. I think he won like 4-1 or 5-0 against Kenza. So this is a revenge series here for our resident Lars player, as we're starting off with a Heat Engager off rip because we like doing that.
Yeah, we see right there, Kenza immediately on the back foot, having to play more defensively here as Clive is wailing on him, keeping him pressed against the wall, using that stun there to deal some massive damage here to Lars, as we see Kenza starting to respond with moves of his own.
Yeah, huge low kick there from Clive, able to get some more damage out of it, and that leads to a perfect. Now, I did mention Lars tries to put the other player in decision paralysis. Clive does that, but not with stances and weird options, more so with just the abundance of like flashy effects and the fact that the sword just has such a range that when you're playing against him, you got to be careful when you're entering in his space.
Yeah, we see, like, we've got Kenza is keeping Clive on his back foot, but it's not enough as Clive starts to respond with that sword that you were just talking about, Moss, and we see Kenza immediately hits his stance to mix up that low into the high kick to really put some damage in on Clive.
Yeah, now entering with a huge mid there, right? Lars gonna get hit with the low. Now the sword and the lightning staff coming into play right now. Clive stuns Kenza onto the ground, looking for a huge combo there. Keeps him in the corner against the wall. Gonna whiff that hit, but now the jabs are coming through from both players. However, both of them go for a swing. However, Clive not as close to death as Kenza was there, so he ends up losing that round.
Yeah, we see Kenza using the stance to slide right past Clive and to deal the opening hit of the round, but Clive immediately responding with some heavy damage as we see 71 damage and a 13-hit combo right there from Clive. Kenza using these stances that he can to almost create the space he needs to approach this Clive, who is swinging back.
Yeah, and now he is on the offensive, getting a lot of damage here on this Clive. That dive kick gonna get him closer, and that punch going to take it home there in that third round. However, this Clive loves starting off rounds with heat engagers, I've realized.
Yeah, I mean, that damage with that low kick to knock Lars up, set him up, but it's not enough as Lars gets to his back, dealing some damage back to Clive, having him stunned up against the wall, and we just see as soon as Lars is in there, he's not stopping till he chooses to or he physically can't anymore.
Yeah, both players just deciding they're going to press buttons now. And huge, just absolutely sends his body the other way, trying to wake up there out of the Yoki. And now, onslaught of just buttons being pressed there from Clive, but a whiff there is going to lead to a combo from Kenza, who drops it, unfortunately, at least for a second, but it doesn't matter when I spin around in a circle and then hit you with a low to take the round.
Yeah, I mean, and we're seeing the difference here is we saw that rage art from Clive in the earlier games, but we haven't seen Kenza use Lars's rage art at all. I feel like it's showing that Kenza is really optimizing just the way his character works on the stances and the mix-ups, that he's like, I don't need to use the rage art because I know a different way around it.
Yeah, and right now he might have to use that rage art to try and get back into this one. Opts for a somewhat safe move there. Now gets a little bit of damage and a huge move, a huge grab there out of Lars. Now looking to dash the other way. Has his heat engaged. Going to use the, not use the heat smash, but gets a good amount of damage. Now both players stuck with their heat, with their rage art. Got a little mixed up there. Both players ended up in the corner, and however, Clive takes that one.
Yeah, I mean, it was tricky there. I mean, it came down to who's going to get stuck against the wall. It was back and forth the whole time, and unfortunately for Kenza, Clive was able to capitalize on Lars getting pinned against the wall and stuck there for the finishing blow.
So the unfortunate thing in this matchup is that you kind of, like, if you're Lars, you'd want to slow it down a little bit because, you know, the whole stance mix-up isn't really working right now. But if you slow it down, at the end of the day, Clive has the longer range. So in a position like that where you're not in his face, you kind of lose that battle. So if you're Lars, you still need to get up in his face. So Kenza's going to have to find a way, you know, take advantage of the opportunities that he has to play a bit aggressive. And right now, it's not working out very well.
Yeah, as we see Clive immediately opening up, dealing some massive damage there, as Kenza is going to get that heat engage off into a devious grab there, and just immediately putting the pressure back on Clive, hitting the lows and dealing some massive damage, putting Clive in a very dangerous health bar situation.
Yeah, however, he whiffs straight into getting hit against the wall, now loses his heat. Clive still has an opportunity to use his heat smash, but getting punched back and then dashing forward is going to make him lose it. Both players, though, have their rage art. Doesn't matter. Clive with the string, able to take that first round here in game number 4.
Yeah, we see both players just immediately hitting the other's block, but Clive getting that damage off immediately, but with the low kick, Kenza able to set up what he's looking for, launching into the tornado, into a heat engager that's just going to set up Kenza for even more success that he was looking for.
Yeah, however, Clive goes ahead and jabs him out of that string, hopefully to stop that combo. but still back against the wall, trying to get out. A huge stoppage there, huge contest from the side of Kenza, and now he's looking for a little bit more damage, but a jab is going to stop that pressure, and now going to launch him into a combo. Clive, though, whiffing on that. That was a big whiff there, as it's going to allow Kenza to try to come back right now and use the arsenal that Lars has in terms of offense to win this quickly, but Clive going to stop that onslaught for the time being. Torgal going to get a huge chunk of damage in 5 seconds left. Both players send it on a button, and Clive wins the slow-mo battle to take this lead up to 2-0.
Yeah, we see there that stance causing some massive liabilities there, as, like you were saying, Lars can't block him. So, and we see Clive using the sword that he has to his advantage as he's dealt some massive damage, as Kenza responds using the heat engager to gain some of the health that he lost back from that combo.
Yeah, right now doing a bit of chip damage over to Clive, who is back against the wall, now been crushed against it, and a huge combo there for Kenza, but now back against the wall. There, jumps over the slide kick from Clive, who is now in a blender at the moment, going to lose that round. That was a fantastic option, fantastic choice there from Kenza.
Yeah, we see immediately Clive looking to punt Ken, or not Ken, excuse me, Lars, but it doesn't work, and immediately Kenza is up against the wall, and Clive is using that to his advantage, but Kenza's now out in the middle as he jumps over the sliding kick again to really put some damage in, as he is immediately put back on the back foot by Clive.
Yeah, however, he has just been crushed on the wall, and Clive doing what Clive does best, and that is send his crazy powers the way of the other character, going to get a whole lot of damage out of that one. Shout out Flex Tape. Here's Kenza now trying to fight back. Has his rage on if he wants to, but that's going to be it. Oh, he let that level charge up a bit too much on the side of Clive. We forgot to mention that part of the character.
Yeah, now, if I remember, that move is called Zantetsuken, right?
Zantetsuken, I think is what it's called, and essentially it's just a bar that like charges up over the course of the game, and you can, once it hits level 2, there's a button press. I think it's like a 2-button press, and you use it, and it's a thing like if it connects, it puts into the animation we just saw. But the higher the level, the more damage it does. So usually people like hold on to it, and they use it as a combo ender when they really need it towards like one of the last rounds. And as we saw right there, though, kind of just use it like a rage art, like, uh-oh, he's going to keep pressing buttons. Let me just catch him off guard with this, because this is going to do a lot of damage. It should take the win, and it did.
Yeah, but here we go, heading into Game 5, as both players have 2 wins so far. So this will be the one that determines it all, as Clive is immediately putting the pressure in on Kenza, but Kenza responds, dealing some damage, as Clive escapes the throw, but and immediately follows it up by putting Kenza up against the wall.
Yeah, the problem with laying down, because like laying down is kind of an option for a lot of Oki situations, as Clive is going to take this round number 1, is that Clive can kind of just run up and do whatever he wants. He has a lot of options when you're laying down, including that lightning staff just like slamming down on the ground. So it's a struggle to try to get out of that situation. But right now, Clive just doing a whole lot of damage, and unfortunately, the drop kick looking move trying to get out of the ground stance is going to lead to a lot of damage taken, but just chip damage, great damage right there. Able to get a lot of the health back now. Fighting back. Kenza looking for some more. Maybe going to use this heat smash. Opting not to. Actually, right there at the end, getting the heat smash. Doesn't get too much damage out of it, but crushes him against the wall and takes the win for his trouble.
Yeah, we see Kenza really using Lars' ability to jump over a lot of these low kicks that Clive is trying to use to escape the combos that Lars is putting him in. But Kenza immediately pressed up against the wall, as we see Clive just an unrelenting assault of attacks to apply that pressure and keep it going against Lars.
Yeah, and that lightning staff just working wonders there as he looks for a combo. That's one he whiffed earlier, able to get it through there. Could have optimized it a bit more, but still gets a good amount of damage of it, and positioning as well. Kenza gonna struggle to get out of that, and unfortunately is going to lose that round. Now, Clive on series point right now. Kenza gonna have to win 2 straight rounds if he wants to come back from this. Clive looking for another combo. Just ends it right there. Now looking for some space, looking for an opening. Does the forward 1+2, and that works. He's gonna crush Kenza against the wall, who's in a bad spot.
Yeah, we see, but Kenza rolling out and launching Clive, but isn't able to make much out of it, and Clive escaping that throw and immediately hitting that 1+2 to set up the combo, but he stops, leaving Kenza with a chance to bring this back as we see the drop kick launch to Clive. Clive starts taking a lot of damage. It's not stopping. Lars with the heating gauge, it whiffs, but we see Clive responding immediately. Lars is on the offensive again, putting both in a dangerous health bar situation.
Oh my goodness. I want to go. I will talk about that after. I will talk about what happened after this, because this is now the last round here in this best of 5. This will determine who wins this series. Both players sending out a few hits right there. Not able to get much out of it until Kenza. That's the first throw. Speaking of throws from earlier, not going to get anything out of it as the other player throw escapes, but now finally able to find it. Clive in a bad spot, has to try to get out of it, but a sidestep roll is going to help him out. However, using an armor move, Clive not going to take all the damage that would lead to death, but that low does it for Kenza as he takes this series on the last round of the last game. Wow.
So much. You're going to explain it, but let's talk about, for me, that, because they play 3, so I got to do the math. It was round 4, where Kenza is literally on the verge of death, and Clive just chooses, he says, I'll dash up to you, and then I'm going to land with you.
Okay, so here's the thing. Clive is it's very easy to tell when Clive, lacks a combo, or when he whiffs a combo, like when drops it. Drop is the right term, by the way. I'm long day. But because Clive, most of his combos send him up in the air, and they tend to follow the character that's being juggled in the air.
Okay.
So if you ever see Clive just like fall down out of nowhere and he's just like in a weird stance, that's because the player dropped the combo. Like it was just a straight up like that's a mispress or a brain lag moment where it's like, wait, what do I do next? Or it's like, oh shoot, I pressed the wrong button. Now you land and you go for the slide. Kenza goes over him, and oh my goodness, that was a comeback for the century right there. And there was also a moment around that moment where a good sidestep was able to avoid damage that probably would have won the round for Clive, and he was able to take advantage of that and fight back, and eventually came back to win that series.
It was just what a series that was. I mean, Kenza coming out swinging, Clive having to respond in that last round, going to the final round of the match to see who would take it in that set. I mean, just that series in general was great on both sides, but especially for Kenza, the way Lars was causing a lot of pressure and issues for Clive. I mean, Clive had to think rather than play most of that game.
Yeah, and like the thing is with both these characters, they both, their goal is kind of the same. Like I mentioned, like they both want to make the other player go like, what do I do here? Oh my God, there's so much happening on screen right now. Oh, I thought that was going to lead to that move, not this move. You know, Lars, like I said, does that out of different stances, and just like spinning around in circles until he finds a high he wants or a low he wants, just because he can. And then Clive is just like, oh, you didn't expect me to attack you from 10 feet away with my sword, did you? And like, oh my God, look at all these fire particles. Oh, I can teleport, by the way. That's where they achieve the goal differently, but they're looking for the same goal. But that time, Kenza on Lars able to do it just a bit better. And honestly, that dropped combo in that round before has probably led to that, because you drop a combo like that you know is about to win you the best of 5. You're like, oh my God, I did not just do that. And then you get really anxious and you're stressed out. And all of a sudden in Tekken, it can switch just like that, because one launcher is going to get you 80% of damage if you know what you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I am pretty glad, though, that Torgal made his appearance in at least one of the combos. But it looks like the next opponent that Kenza is up against tonight is playing Leroy. What could you tell me about Leroy, Moss?
So here's the thing. Leroy is weird because in Tekken 7, he was like the best character in the game for a really long time. Tekken 8, he is not a great character. What I will say is that he's very much so like, he has great lows. Defensive tools in terms of that, he has a just frame parry. Okay. So looking out for that, that's probably what Leroy is going to look to do to try to keep Kenza from just pressing buttons a lot, to try to punish him for pressing buttons. But right now, on a stage like this, you're going to get comboed for a while as you see like a high percentage of Kenza's health just went away like that. right now, not able to find an opening just because of how quick the jabs are of Leroy. And he can kind of do the same thing because he's also a stance character.
Okay.
And he enters and exits out of his stances really quickly. And right there, you just now saw the just frame parry, which is going to punish Kenza for pressing the wrong buttons at the wrong time. Now he's going to struggle and try to find an opening to try and fight back here.
Yeah, we see Kenza trying to keep that damage just between, just at the same amount, except Leroy responds, countering that, and we see the damage getting put back on Kenza as Kenza is trying to push Leroy towards this wall to set that launch, but that low setting up Leroy for enough for the tornado to take the second round as well.
Yeah, and, Leroy, a lot of ways, he struggles to approach other characters.
Yeah.
A lot, but once he gets there, he can do a decent amount of damage. He has some of the highest combo damage in the entire game, so that's kind of what offsets his approach. And right now, Kenza just not able to find anything to answer back right now. However, Leroy going to whiff that and help him out just a bit. He's now getting it juggled by Kenza here across the stage, who's going to keep this combo going. Now this is the time. He has the chance. He has the open opportunity to keep it going. However, the whiff move is going to lead to a combo from Leroy.
Yeah, we see Leroy using that cinematic of punches there. And we see the launch off the get up, but Leroy using a throw that will take the third round and the set in Leroy's favor.
Yeah, so the thing here is that you just fought a Clive, who was just, in general, a way different character from Leroy. So the pacing is just going to be different. So adjusting to that as a Lars player is kind of difficult. What he's going to need to do here is probably take advantage of his sidestep. Because Leroy doesn't have the greatest tracking ability. The problem is just, if you're pressing too many buttons, which is what you do a lot as Lars, you can get caught by that parry, and all of a sudden you're taking a lot of damage just because, his combos are crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we see right there that low immediately the engage that Kenza was looking for as he proceeds to wail on Leroy, getting the heat engage to step right down on the Leroy, really applying the pressure, just not letting up until Leroy responds with a drop kick of his own and responding with a tornado launch of his own into that cinematic of punches.
Yeah, and right now, Kenza trying to get out of the corner. He's going to be able to, at least for now. Goes for the heat smash, doesn't find it, whiffs, but now he finds himself comboing the Leroy, who was going to die and lose that round, the first round here in game number 2.
Yeah, and immediately going in for something, but it is blocked by Leroy. Leroy responding after that block, using it to initiate the combo. Immediately a flurry of punches again, dealing a good chunk of Kenza's health there. But Kenza able to sidestep, get around, and get the stage interaction to help launch Leroy to set up for the combos that Kenza is looking for.
Yeah, like I mentioned, he's utilizing that sidestep is going to be what helps him here, as now Leroy is just in a blender, can't get out of it. Now back against the wall, and that heat smash is going to lose him this round number 2 here in game number 2. It looks like Kenza is finding his rhythm, finding his flow here in this second game.
Yeah, just as you're saying, Kenza seems to really be understanding the pace he's got to take against this Leroy now, as we see a lot of Leroy's health already missing, and immediately Kenza getting a big hit into a throw that's going to deal the chunk of damage he's looking for that one final hit to end it, but Leroy not giving up just yet, using the mix-ups and the stance that he needs to try and bring this back.
Yeah, right now, going to get that throw, which is going to add on to the damage. But now both players have their rage out. However, on Wake Up, Kenza just takes care of business to win that set number 2. Now, before the last string right there, what you noticed when Kenza got that throw, what happened was the Leroy was setting up the parry. Whenever he does this, he's going for the just frame parry. But if you miss it, your character now lags. Like, there's a lot of end frames there, so he gets kind of screwed over. And Kenza just takes advantage of that because he was expecting button presses. Just grabs them, throws them, gets some more damage, and that's going to lead to a Kenza game win there. Now tied at 1-1. 1-1 here in this best of 5.
Okay. And we see the low right into the initial combo that Kenza's looking for. So it's just, here we go, and unrelenting flurry of attacks here from Lars. Just Leroy stuck in the corner, not sure what he wants to do yet.
Yeah, a couple poking lows are going to get him some damage out of that. And now Kenza being launched in the air up against a bad part of the wall that's going to send him flying back the other way. Now Leroy able to continue that combo, especially using the heat engager, keeps him going. But now Kenza looking for a spot, and Leroy paying the price for some reason just running at Kenza. I don't know what he was planning there. I don't know. Kenza waking up just in time, able to stop the Leroy's advance and take that round.
Yeah, immediately Leroy says, I've got to take advantage while I can. Applying the pressure, immediately wall crushing Lars here. And Lars already able to use a Rage Art, but the just parry enables Leroy to take the round with a perfect tying this set 1-1.
Jeez, yeah, and what I've noticed is that Leroy is which is probably how most Leroys are played. He's using his lows to open up the offense more for him, so he uses the lows to get in to Lars's face and then tries to just keep those combos going. However, right now, not working for him as he's already lost half his health, losing even more due to that heat move. And looking for the heat smash is Kenza, doesn't get it, gets blocked, but doing some chip damage in the meantime. Leroy tries to make a move that's going to cost him his life.
Yeah, I mean, just the way that Lars is moving right now, making it very difficult for Leroy to find the opening to use those lows to set up what he's looking for. But immediately both players trying to figure out what they want to do, and we see the heat engager from Kenza and Lars just immediately looking for it, but Leroy says, nope, not yet. I'm not ready to take all that damage just yet.
Yeah, now using the lows to get in there, try to get a throw, whiffs the throw. Now Kenza on the attack. However, both characters' heat bars are going down. Leroy still has a chance to use heat smash. Now it's gone. See ya. Later, bye. Now Leroy trying to get out of the wall. Kenza now back. His back is against the wall. Rage Art gonna be pressed. Leroy didn't expect that. That was a panic Rage Art if I've ever seen one. However, it worked.
Yeah, we're going to see this lightning strike is going to be enough to put the round away as Lars takes that last one, putting Kenza up in the series. I believe it is 2-1 now, boss.
Yeah, that's 2-1. I need to remember to ask him about that because that was really funny. That was that is pure panic Rage Art there.
Yeah,
this coming from like a person that plays Tekken. That is pure like I don't know how to get out of the situation, and I feel like they have 5 million options. So I'm just gonna do something that should be safe and guess that they're gonna keep pressing buttons, and it worked. It worked. And here as we go into game number 4, Kenza looking to take the series in this best of 5, but you still play it out all the way.
Yeah, and immediately Lars taking some damages. Leroy has the advantage here in the health situation, but it's looking like Kenza waiting for that opening, taking some damage, already has the ability for the Rage Art, but will not use it as Leroy will take round 1 in this set.
Yeah, very quick round win there for Leroy as Kenza looking to bounce back. Already has the pressure on him. I hate this stage. You know that? I know I random point to say it, but I hate this stage so much, and I assume that Leroy hates it right now. Tries to get up with those kicks, not able to get his face. And here's another panic Rage Art. We love those around here. Takes a little bit of damage, not enough to kill him though. So he's gonna get a decent amount now. If you don't know, the less health you have, the more damage that the Rage Art does. I think it also has something to do with heat and if it's a counter move. However, it doesn't matter at the end of the day because Kenza just goes and retaliates and takes the round.
Yeah, right there. Kenza looking for that opening with a flip kick, but it's not going to be anything as Leroy lands the first punch. Kenza wailing on his block, but punishing this Leroy for not looking at low and immediately taking a good chunk of Leroy's health out of the way already.
Yeah, now back against the wall. He gets bounced off the side of the stage. Now has to look out. Ooh, pressing buttons there as Kenza going to get caught in there and back-to-back caught into a just frame parry, which is going to introduce a lot of offense for Leroy, who whiffs on that punch, now backs up, looking for an opening, and that low heat smash is going to be what takes it for him.
So, going into round 4, we got Leroy already on the offensive, wailing on the block, and only the last hit of the combo will land, but it'll set up enough to launch Lars into the air, setting up more offensive opportunities, but the side step from Kenza able to get him out of that situation, so he has some damage on the Leroy.
Yeah, however, gets caught pressing buttons now, getting comboed by Leroy, who sends him to the ground for more offense and gets grabbed to lose this set this round. I mean, which is going to take game 4 for the side of Leroy. Now Leroy ties the series up. We're going into another game 5. Wow. One thing I noticed there is that Leroy is taking advantage of there's this move he has. It's a low, where it's legit just a really quick toe stomp. He just stomps on the other character's toe, and it stuns the other player for a second. And that's how he's been using. That's the move he's been using to get into Kenza's face the entire match. So he's gonna have to look out for those as he goes into the last game.
Yeah, and as the round starts, both players looking to hesitate on how they intro, and we see the just parry not working in the Leroy's favor as Lars responds immediately, dealing some massive damage, taking a good chunk of the health bar out right here in the beginning of the round.
Yeah, and right now Leroy's going to bounce back, goes for the tracking high move, doesn't get anything out of it. Kenza ducks that one, now sending Leroy into a panic as he's getting comboed and bounced off the stage. Like I said, Leroy probably hates this stage right now as his heat bar is going to get depleted for the most part, as his health bar is at the same time getting depleted. Probably going to look for this heat smash here at the end, try to see if he can get anything out of it. However, unable to, but keeps the moves going as he uses it. Now 9 seconds left. If the players don't run out of health by the time this time is over, it's whoever has more. Now we're just throwing on a panic rage art, and it doesn't work because Leroy reads that he has more health and doesn't need to press a button, and due to that blocks the rage art, gets the grab, wins the round.
We see an immediate counter to start the round. Lars dealing a heavy hit, but Leroy immediately responding to make sure that this pressure doesn't stay on him the entire round.
Yeah, and that heat smash going to send Leroy back, but now due to the fact that Kenza is not going to stop pressing buttons, he's now put himself in a tough position against the backside of the stage, tries to drop kick out of it. However, that is going to cost him the round now as Leroy is on series round point here in game number 5.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot as Kenza needs to win the next 3. We see he's already applying that pressure that he has been applying on this stage, using the stances to mix up what he was going to do against the Leroy, but Leroy waiting for him to approach. But that drop kick that we seem to see all the time is just coming out, and it is doing what it is intended to do, as Leroy is out of this one with that low hit to the leg from Lars.
Yeah, that move has been very helpful across both series here, as he dodged a lot of Clive's slide moves with it earlier. Now both players trading blows, both blocking most of it, but Leroy taking an early lead here, looking to try and end this one before Kenza has a chance to come back. He's now sitting at about 40% health. This is a little bit scary as the low helps him out a bit, but almost in that rage art territory. If he can get him down a good bit here, then he has a lot of tools to be able to make this comeback. Gets Leroy stunned against the wall, looking like he can end this right here, and he does. Now, we're going into the last round for the last series once again.
I feel like I've seen this. I've seen this situation before.
Yeah.
You see both players play more defensively. Leroy getting the initial launch in the round. Kenza putting himself right back there. And we see Leroy immediately capitalizing on the damage he's able to deal here to Kenza in the corner.
Yeah, both players now just pressing buttons. We're pressing everything. We're trying to win this because we are nervous, we are anxious, and we want this win so bad. Heat smash gonna get a lot of damage here. Leroy in a blender. He's gonna get stunned and he's gonna lose. Kenza takes 3 rounds in a row to win the series 3-2. Back-to-back game 5 wins here to bring it home for our local large player.
I mean,
wow. Oh my goodness.
3 rounds? The gentleman's sweep? I mean,
yeah.
Leroy has the advantage. He literally needs 1 round, and he takes the whole series. And Kenza says, no, hold on. Let me actually lock in for this last 3 rounds.
And like the thing about Leroy, actually, is that while his combos do high damage, his pokes in general, like that kind of stuff, don't do as much damage. So like if you're not getting any launchers out of this, if you're not getting any like big openings onto Lars, you're gonna lose that kind of battle. that we saw, which both players were just kind of pressing buttons, especially toward the end, and kind of got a little either tired, either just in like, I'm tired, I'm sleepy, or like, I'm tired of playing against you. We're playing at a really fast pace, and I'm getting screwed over by dumb stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, it could also just be the nerves that the series it got into that game, the round 5.
Yeah.
Whoever wins this wins it all mentality. And I mean, and we'll even actually take it over to the stats from Kenza overall. And we see Kenza tonight with 6 sets won, 4 sets lost, 21 rounds won, and 17 rounds lost.
Yeah, absolutely huge bounce back there from the Street Fighter side of things. Kenza able to take both those series very close. However, going to be able to do that. That's going to be huge as we start the regular season here for CFGC. All right, off rip. I'm not wasting any time. That rage art. That was a panic? Was that a panic?
Yes.
Yeah, that was a panic. That was a panic. You can scoot over here a little bit more, get on to camera a bit better. Yeah, that was that's just classic Tekken play, is it not?
Yeah, I mean, in that moment, it was a panic rage art, and also I was like, he's going to keep mashing because he sees I have like a quarter of my health left. Yeah. I'm going to press rage art, and I'm just going to take the round and walk away because I didn't want to, as we say, I don't want to take the mix, so I'm just going to rage art.
Yeah, that was a good choice indeed. I want to talk about, I guess, you started off against the Clive, which was very much so, like I mentioned, I'd like to see your side of things. When it comes to long day here for our first Buzzdown show, but Lars versus Clive, very much a mix-up matchup because both players like to freak the other player out by just how many options they have and how much flashy stuff that they do. How do you feel about a matchup like that?
I don't even have anything complex to really say about that. Yeah. I play like the mix-up character. Yep. If you thought I liked Terry, I have played Lars since I picked up the game. And when I come into when I'm fighting somebody else who has stance mix-ups or just like anyone in general, my goal is to run them over first. And if I don't, then I switch up instantly. Yeah. As you probably saw, I am what I like to call myself a comeback artist, to where if I'm put against a wall and I'm like, man, I'm really going to lose here. Most of the time I usually don't end up losing. It is honestly one of the best things I do. I did it in CFGC finals last semester where I got sent to losers and then I climbed from the bottom of losers bracket all the way to 4th place. So I like being the underdog.
Yeah, and also, so you end up going in. How do you feel? Let's make this a 2-parter. First off, how did you feel going into that last round of the Clive set? And then also the same with the Leroy one. Try to compare the two.
I think the last round of the Clive set, my nerves were really high because he had beaten me last week. And I really wanted to come back around and win that time. So I kind of had to use a lot more control. And at the end of the Leroy set, as you saw, we were kind of just going at it, like wailing on each other. Yeah. But I had used that to my advantage because one of Lars's most common frame traps is the leg sweep on the ground into the crouch punch. And we were both getting low health last set of the series, so I was like, this is the time he's going to mash there. I threw it out there, and he got counter hit launched, and that was that. It was history.
Yeah, and I asked you this question about the Street Fighter side of things. Now I want to ask this question about the Tekken side of things because it's a very different outlook for you. You have very different experience in both. What are your goals as we head into next week, the 3rd week of the regular season for CFGC?
I would say my general goals is I'm pushing for top 16.
Yeah.
They're holding LAN finals, and, I don't have too much to work on when it comes to Tekken. I just need to play a little bit slower because I play really quick, and it gets me absolutely right over sometimes. But, I mean,
We're just jump kicking out of Oki.
I do what I want out of Oki. But, just squashing all of my bad habits so I can get to top 16. I am 21st out of, I think, 60 right now. So I've got
50.
a lot. 50.
Yeah.
21st out of 50,
which is
so
nothing
I'm right
to scoff at. In CFGC, there are some incredible players in that league.
There's insane people in CFGC.
And I guess, last but not least, Isaiah, do you have anything you would like to add to the conversation or ask?
Yes, and it goes back to the Clive. Technically 2 questions. So, 1, what was it like fighting Trunks?
He wanted to change the future, and unfortunately I didn't let that happen.
Well, you saw, and now I've got to ask if you agree with that player's name. Should they buff Torgal?
Buff Torgal. Torgal
buff
deserves
Torgal.
to be buffed. He ain't do nothing wrong.
He ain't do nothing wrong. Just shout out Final Fantasy. I'll say that at least. Do you have? I know you had a shout out in the last interview. Do you have anything you want to say?
My shout out this time is shout out to my friend Star, who taught me how to play Tekken and still coaches me to this day.
Shout out Star. Isaiah, any final words?
Shout out Torgal.
Shout out Torgal indeed. Shout out Grandma. Shout out Final Fantasy. And shout out you guys for watching our debut show, The Buzzdown, where we look to recap everything we missed throughout the week. Try to make sure that you guys get to see all the action here from Shenandoah University Esports. And right now, next week, we do not have anything because we will be out on spring break. But the following week after that, we should be back. So make sure to follow all the SU Esports socials. Keep up to date with all the happenings here in the program. But right now, from all of us here at Shenandoah Esports, that will be all. Goodbye and good night.
Shenandoah University is a big little university rising.
With 22 Division III sports teams, over 200 areas of study,
Over 300 annual performances, an elite academic esports program,
Nationally ranked health professions programs, one of the biggest university presences on Broadway.
immersive AR and VR learning programs,
Cybersecurity and computer science programs, and innovative undergrad and graduate programs.
all at a place that cares for you.
Shenandoah University is the big little university rising. Find out more at su.edu/rising.
We have the Esports Arena right here on campus in Winchester, Virginia, and this facility acts as the hub for all esports activity at Shenandoah University. Students are able to use this space not just for competition and practices, but also as a living learning community and a sandbox for them to come and explore and practice and try out things related to and through esports in the gaming industry so that they're getting that hands-on learning and the skills necessary to help them find a career by the time they graduate. We also have the professional level broadcast production booth where we do all of our broadcasting and production, from casting of our games that we play right here on campus to working with outside entities to record footage for them as well. In addition to the space that we have here in the Esports Arena is the Esports War Room. Our students get to use that space for studying, but also outside projects. So our students get to use this space for professional development and the academic side of our esports program, which is such a critical component to go with that competitive element that we have. So we combine all of our facilities at Shenandoah University with competition, community, and career preparation. We have over 250 days of programming, and there's something for everybody, and we want you to be part of it.